जैसी
एस
एम
एम 39 रफिया
एम के बाद अभी
आना मिलना वाले को
इसके बाद कैटलॉग वगैरह मिलता है। वो 10 के बाद
लोग इतनी अच्छी थी हमारे खाना में।
हाँ बोलो बोलो। मालूम था मेरे को, मालूम था मेरे
अब्दुल आंसर
को। देखो मेरे भी वर्कशॉप चल रहे, सेमिनार चल रहा है, इससे बैठ के आता है। चलो जाने को मत, नहीं कर सकते फिर क्या कर सकते। सर आज आए नहीं कॉलेज में। वो नालायक आदमी को मैंने कल ही पूछा, वो आदमी को मैंने पूछा,
तो वही है ना।
नहीं नहीं, चलो जानो, तुम नहीं आ रही हो ना, चलो ठीक है, बात नहीं। चलो मैं सेमिनार बात कर पाती ना।
ये तो हाँ अब्दुल सादिक नॉट शूटिंग
हाँ
इसमें तो माइक भी नहीं है अभी नहीं
सर आपका आवाज आएगा ना वहाँ से। आप बोलिए बट यू कैन हियर, आप सुन सकते हो।
सुन सकते हो और सुनना भी नहीं है तो क्या कर
लेकिन वो है यार ये लोग अपूर्व मिश्रा सुनीता
सकते हैं। ये सब नागालैंड नागालैंड से ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं। ये जाता रहता था पागल उड़ीसा उड़ीसा
हेलो अल्लाह
वहीं पे घूम रहा है।
कनेक्टेड
Hello, good afternoon. Jinal ma'am, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible? Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, all the participants. We are about to start the session in few minutes.
Hello, Rajesh sir.
Sir, can I be made the co-host so that I can later on share my slides?
Yes, ma'am. Just wait. Wait. Uh,
हाँ सादिक सर बोलिए. Sorry, I was with sir. Yeah, बोलिए सादिक sir. He was saying
yeah,
something.
just ma'am. I'm making.
Yeah.
Okay. Rajesh sir, just see my WhatsApp message.
The speaker is Dr. Jinal Samir Shah, sir. I have said on WhatsApp, na name. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Now you can share it.
Yeah, I have said name, Dr. Jinal Shah.
Yes, sir, you've made me the host. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so good afternoon, one and all. Shall we wait for a few minutes, ma'am? 56 have joined. I think in few minutes they will join
Sure, sir, sure. No problem, sir.
because the 100 will be joining here and rest will go on YouTube. And from tomorrow, we have taken 300 subscriptions so that all can join on the same group on Zoom
It's
itself.
really great, sir.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. So we wait for 2-3 minutes more if you okay with. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sir has given you right now to share the PPT. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, so let's start, ma'am. Uh, okay. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And Shah for accept and for holding this session. Both these sessions will be taken by Dr. Jinal Shah on systematic literature review and scholarly writing. I would like to introduce ma'am to all of you. Dr. Jinal Shah is currently the Assistant Professor of Marketing at School of Business Management in Narsi Mohanji Institute of Management Studies in Mumbai. She has a total teaching experience of 14 years. She has completed her doctoral degree from KG Somaiya Institute of Management Studies, affiliated to University of Mumbai. She is a gold medalist in MBA. She has also completed Masters in Commerce. She has cleared net set exams in Commerce and Management 5 times. She has won 9 times the award for Best Research Paper in various international conferences from prestigious educational institutions like MICA, JBIMS, SIMSR, SIS, COMS. She has 7 publications to her credit, one in ABDC, one in A category, 4 in ABDC C category, one in Scopus, and one in UGC Care List. She has authored books in marketing mix, consumer behavior, digital marketing, and brand management. She's also contributing author at the portal Strategy Story with 6 articles to her credit. She has also published two cases in the 15th edition of Marketing Management by Philip Kotler. She's also content developer for the fifth edition of Strategic Brand Management, authored by Kevin Keller, has a special mention in the book. She has been recognized with the honor of the Best Young Teacher by Higher Education Forum for the outstanding contribution in the area of higher education. She holds the badge of top voice on LinkedIn. With a deep passion for the domain of personal branding on LinkedIn, Jinal Shah has taken sessions on this topic in more than 70 colleges in India and abroad, Africa and Australia, etc., like IIMS, IMT, IITS, JBIMS, and various schools and campuses of NIMIS, to name a few. So welcome, Jinal Shah, ma'am. They must have understood that at this young age, you have a wonderful achievement, academic achievement, and they will get influence from you and a number of academic achievements you do have. So
Thank you, sir.
welcome on this virtual capacity building program of our college. And I will request you to start the session. Thank you very
Sure,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Being introduced by you itself is an honor, and coming back to your college again and again for some or the other sessions on research methodology is my privilege. So I take this opportunity and with deepest gratitude to you and to all the authorities at the college for the opportunity. Good afternoon, participants. I welcome all of you to the second day of Capacity Building Research Methodology Workshop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know whether you can see it or not. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I am deliberately right now not putting my slide on a full screen mode because as I go through the points on the slides, I want to highlight them so that you can make some notes out of it. My humble request, if you can actively participate by making some notes, I think that will be great. If you're doing some parallel work, okay, maybe that's fine, but try and focus as much as you can so that you can ask a lot of questions, because this research methodology that I'm going to explain to you, this research paper type, I think it's going to be a game changer in your research journey. Why do I make this claim? Because it became a game changer in my PhD journey and the further publications that I have had. So we'll begin with by understanding that what is a review paper. The moment we say a review paper, we're talking about a research paper manuscript that we're going to develop by reviewing other past papers that have got published. And we're going to do it critically. We're going to have a framework for it. It's going to be done in a structured manner. Why this is to be done? Okay, this is in a way so over here, okay, what I would like to emphasize that prior studies is something, okay, we need to keep in mind. The idea of doing this is to synthesize the literature. Okay, when I say synthesize the literature, we would want to, okay, first of all download, assemble the papers, and then create some nice structure out of it, make tables, figures out of it, that can pave the way, okay, for future studies. Okay, we want to look at past studies and then we want to make some future predictions, okay, about how future research can be done. It's a great way of understanding a research topic. If you want to go to the depths of a topic, systematic literature review is a great way. A review paper is a great way of going by that. Now, you may wonder, okay, as to why researchers, okay, are doing a review study. So multiple reasons. PhD students take up this so that they get in-depth idea about their domain. Okay. Secondly, it helps you in publishing also. Also, you get to know about the seminal studies in your area. When I say seminal studies, what are the landmark studies? What are the most highly cited studies? What theories are most commonly used in your study? What sort of dependent variable, independent variables repeatedly are seen? What research methodology, okay, is commonly observed? You get a fair idea about this. Review papers are always, okay, most of the time, okay, it's a thematic analysis that we look at the papers, wherein, you have to do an in-depth reading, a thematic analysis and a content analysis is what something that we do. Now let's look at some of the types of review papers. What are the various types that are available? The first one is the narrative review, which a lot of people mention in their PhD, wherein they say that this paper, this author makes these claims. X and Y Z paper and author, okay, are saying so and so. So that's a narrative review, but it's not called as a systematic review because there's no systematic approach. We just have downloaded some papers and one after the other, we are reviewing them, we're writing them in paragraph. Vis-a-vis that, in contrast to that, a systematic literature review, okay, is a very structured way of right from start to the end, from the way you download the papers, the way you screen the papers, the way you prepare your coding sheet, you make your tables, then you make, okay, some analysis out of it, the way you write, okay, it's done in a very structured manner. And that's why systematic literature review papers get published more than narrative reviews. In today's time, nobody publishes narrative review. Okay, even if you try publishing a paper based on narrative review, it will be very difficult. Maybe for PhD, for some chapterization, introduction, literature review, you can use it, but otherwise, it has no place. Okay, in the publication area. Next type we have is the meta-analysis. Meta-analysis is the advanced version of review in which now we take only quantitative studies. We look at only quantitative studies and we look at the correlation coefficient and we look at the beta values that are present in those papers. And then we use some data analysis to say what have been the relationships overall. Meta-analysis has come from the medical world, medicine world, physical sciences world, and now also it's also very commonly used in our social sciences domain. Then you have something called as meta synthesis. Now under meta synthesis, now we take the qualitative studies. So meta analysis, we're taking quantitative, meta synthesis, we're taking qualitative studies, and we're trying to see what themes, patterns, etc. can be worked around. Then we also have something called as a scoping review. A scoping review is something where we just try to identify some concepts, trends, gaps, etc. Then we have an umbrella review. An umbrella review is something which analyzes several systematic reviews, SLRs, meta-analysis done in a particular domain or for a theory. So there's a very popular theory, that is widely used, say self-determination theory. So whatever SLRs that have been done for self-determination theory, whatever meta-analysis has been done, an umbrella review will try to synthesize that. And we also have something called as bibliometric review, wherein we use this is something which is not manually done. We use softwares like WOS, Weaver, R, etc. And we try to see the highly cited papers, most common authors, universities, networks, etc. It's a superficial way of knowing your domain. If you want to truly know your domain, systematic literature review is the way for it. Dear participants, what we are trying to do over here today is to help you carve out a publication using systematic literature review. So keep that in mind. Keep some topic, some area in your mind, and maybe towards the end you can ask me questions around it. Now let's look at SLR, and again, okay, I minimize the screen so that I can highlight some point. Remember that this is a very structured and a methodological way of doing things. In our literature, there have been so many papers, editorials which have been made to tell how to do a SLR, how to do a systematic literature review. It is very rigorous in nature and it is something that one can replicate because the entire process, etc., is mentioned, is laid down so that everybody can repeat it. An attempt is made to understand, okay, evaluate and synthesize, okay, form linkages, okay, of the past studies. We also say that it's a critical analysis of the papers. We just don't say, okay, this is the most highly IVDV, okay. We critically evaluate also the literature. And one of the greatest use of an SLR is to know the future research. About this, I will let you know later on, okay, as we move through. Like, say, for example, today a topic comes to my mind, okay, it's a very interesting. Say, for example, Neuromarketing. Although this is a very old topic, but I say neuromarketing is a topic that is coming to my mind for the first time. I want to do research in this. I will advise that before you dive deep into this, you just blindly download papers, go through an existing SLR paper if it exists. And that SLR paper will tell you everything about this domain. An SLR paper, a bibliometric paper, a meta analysis. These are the three papers that you should download initially before you embark on your research journey on a particular topic. Why I'm saying this? So that it can give you a fair idea. From the day one, you'll know what are the which study, okay, is a seminal study, highly cited, which are the popular theories, so that you don't look at only those areas, or you don't stick to those old theories, variables. It also talks about future research, so maybe you can pick some future gap that they have tried to show and take up as your research. Moving on. Okay, now let's look at how different researchers have explained SLR. SLR, if broadly, if I have to talk about SLR as a methodology, we talk about assembling the paper, that is downloading the paper from multiple databases. Then we arrange them, okay, we make a code book in the form of an Excel sheet. So all relevant information from the research paper is put down on in those Excel files. And then we make tables. Then from those tables, we write an analysis and so on. So assembling, arranging, assessing. When we look at SLR as a methodology, more about these three A's we talk in the later part. SLR is also a product of research. As I told you, you want to know in depth, okay, about the existing field. The researchers have already mapped out for you. They've laid down the entire information on a platter for you. So that's how you can use. Secondly, if you're finding that you are not able to look at the future gaps, you're not able to know what are the gaps in the current literature, an SLR can tell you that. um, to reiterate the thing, okay, that why this needs to be done. Every PhD student has to come up with at least one SLR. Similarly, whenever you start a new domain, you have to don't directly start from qualitative studies, quantitative, or you're using regression structural equation. I would suggest start with an SLR. It will give you such a good grip on the entire literature. Because anyways, it is said that whenever we have to do research, we have to look at the past literature. So past literature, we are reading. If you're just blindly reading, okay, 20 papers, 30 papers, 100 papers, you're not noting it down, you are not, assimilating that information, then I would say that such type of review is just in the air. It doesn't serve the purpose. 6 months down the line, if you want to remember, okay, what you read in that first paper or the fifth paper or the 20th paper, so difficult to recall. So instead of that, from the day one, okay, if you prepare the SLR code book and you do an SLR, it can give you a great idea. Remember, doing SLR does not mean that it's an escape or a quick publication. It doesn't mean that, okay, in Jhatpat, one week, 1 month, I will publish. No. It's just a great way to help you publish 3, 4 more articles in that domain. That's how I look at an SLR. In my PhD, when I did an SLR, uh, I'll show, okay, my paper to you. After that, I was able to publish, okay, 3 papers, and I was able to present my other gaps in some conferences very confidently. Every time some reviewer has given me an objection that why you are saying this, why this relationship is coming, I was able to defend it very confidently. Okay, so SLR has that sort of power. I think somebody has kept themselves on an unmute mode, so I request you please mute yourself. So SLRs that way are very, very impactful, and it also helps you be a thought leader in a particular industry. It also helps you know what are the most commonly formed relationships, what literature agrees, does not agree, and so on. Lisa, I think your annotation is on. If you could keep it off, I think that will be great. Okay, another great advantage of SLR is that, see, this has happened with me, that a great idea has struck me. I've started reading papers on it. I've started, okay, building my model on it. And then after reading some 20-30 papers, I realized that there is already one very good study that is available, and there is nothing new, okay, if I also continue doing that. Earlier, this used to happen with me multiple times, but ever since I've started using this SLR route, okay, to know a domain and for my publishing purpose, I am protected, okay, from coming up with the repeated research, okay, recycled research or redundant research. So it has helped me do that. Also, most publishing houses appreciate SLR papers if they're done systematically, if they're done properly. As okay, you try to understand a certain field, okay, in a great way. Now, in if in case you're not convinced, okay, why to conduct an SLR, quickly let me tell you. It tells you, okay, about the existing knowledge on a topic. It helps you identify the gaps, tells you future areas of study. It helps you avoid any repeated usage of the same variables, same theories, same methods. Okay, it helps you bring out the novelty in you and a great way to guide your future research. Also, sometimes, okay, if there is an already, see if you've picked up a topic, if there's already an SLR that exists, that doesn't mean you can't do an SLR. There are still possibilities to do it, but in a different way, which I'll let you know in some time. Plus, in a very structured, transparent manner, okay, you can get to know about your field of work. Now, which are the publishing avenues, okay, popular publishing avenues? Some of the journals which I know repeatedly, regularly, they come up with a special issue for publication purposes. So you can track these. These are very high quality A star FT50 journals. Apart from that, even if it's a ABDC or a Scopus indexed publication, check the journal aims and scope, and I think you can publish over there. So a great publishing opportunity. Now let's look at, okay, SLR. Okay, it's such an important and interesting domain, and there's so much, okay, one can learn about this. So let's look at the various types of SLR. So primarily there are 4 types of SLR. One is domain based, second is theory based, third is method based, and fourth is meta-analytic based. This is a very, very important part. I request you, if possible, make some notes, okay, pay full attention. First, let's look at, okay, the domain based SLR. As I said, okay, domain. Now, what do I mean a domain? Marketing is a domain. Within marketing, consumer behavior is a domain. Within consumer behavior, say attitude is a domain. Or, for example, I've mentioned sustainable marketing, neuromarketing. These are all domains within a particular subject. Like my PhD was on MOOCs. So MOOCs is also a domain. So you are wanting to do an SLR, or you're wanting to study all possible papers, past papers that are present in sustainable marketing or neuromarketing or mobile payment systems or say green bonds and so on. So that is domain based. It helps you, okay, get to know about a certain industry or a domain. Second one is a theory-based SLR. Okay, a theory in which we take existing theories. So there are popular theories like we have Abraham Maslow's theory of motivation, we have resource-based view theory, we have self-determination theory, we have SOR theory. So I just take one theory and then I look at all the papers, be it marketing, finance, HR, how that theory has been used in various say domains or various areas, and then I try to make sense, okay, through my SLR. So that's a theory. Third is method. As the name says, this is looking at the research methodology or a data collection tool that you have used. So maybe I can do an SLR on survey in marketing, survey method used in marketing, or survey method used in sustainable marketing, or I can do it on a regression analysis or structural equation modeling techniques in MOOC studies. I can do it that way. So I can combine it in a certain way. So over here, I'm interested that whosoever, for whichever topic, okay, when it comes to a theory or a domain or a particular area, or in a journal, okay, how this particular theory has been used. Say a journal for last 20 years, 50 years. So we try to do it on a method based. So these were the 3 types, and the meta-analysis, as I told you earlier, meta-analysis tries to look at quantitative studies only. It looks at the beta values, correlation coefficient values. It looks at the moderator. And quantitatively, okay, it gives us how the relationships have been applied, okay, in the past literature. Now, let's have a look at domain-based research. What are the subtypes that exist in domain-based? So in that, first we have a structured review. Second one is a framework. Third one is a bibliometric. Fourth one is a hybrid. Fifth one is a review for theory development. Before I go deeper into this, in case you're wondering that from where, okay, I'm making this theory and all. So I've used some 4 to 5 very popular research papers by Justin Paul, by Wenmark, and such other popular names in the domain of SLR, Professor Satish Kumar, etc. So from their papers, okay, I have made the structure, the PPT that I'm trying to share with you. So let's look at these types, okay, one by one. The first one is called as the structured review. And what do we mean by structured review? As the name suggests, it's a very, very predetermined structure framework that we tend to follow for doing an SLR. Okay, wherein we look at the most popular research methods, popular theories, constructs in the form of independent variable, dependent variable, mediators, moderators, control variables, highly cited studies, which countries, okay, the publications are happening the most, which year on was the publication started. So we do it, okay, in a very structured manner. There are a lot of tables that we tend to use. At least 8 to 10 tables you will see in a structured review that comes into picture. And at a glimpse, you get to know that, say, for example, a field like sustainable marketing, a field like rural marketing, which was the first year, okay, from where the study started, which is the country where the most research is done, and so on and so forth. So it's a great way to do. Right now, we're doing theory. I'll also make you do some activities as I finish my PPT. I'll also show you my own paper, wherein whatever I'm saying, okay, you'll find that there's so much, okay, of, matching, okay, and there's so much of sense that's happening. Second type of domain-based review that we look at is called as the framework-based review. Now, under framework, okay, what we do is there are established frameworks of SLR. Now, there are some 4 popular frameworks I've tried to mention over here. One is the ADO framework, which is called as antecedents, decisions, outcomes. Then there is 6W, who, when, where, how, what, why. Then there is the TCCM. TCCM is the most popular ones: theory, construct, characteristic, methodology. This is a framework we used, okay, in our study, and then we do our analysis. Okay. There are experts that I've cited over. They say that if researchers, okay, want to come up with a new framework altogether, if they want to combine 2, 3 frameworks together, that's also possible. Now, those who are wondering that what is this theory, what is this antecedents, and so on, I'll explain to you one by one. Okay, let us do it in a step-by-step manner. So this was a framework-based review. Third one, okay, we have is a bibliometric review, where we use softwares like WASWeaver. There is R also available. Through your software tools itself, you get to know year-wise, country-wise, author, you get a diagram, you get a table. See, otherwise, SLR is a manual activity. You have to do it manually. There might be some AI tools that may have been recently developed, but I feel they are not able to do SLR. An AI tool might just give you a summary of a research paper, but it can't synthesize the way, okay, we are looking at over here. Plus, another advantage of a bibliometric is that there's a lot of co-citations that you will see, that who has cited who, okay, how are authors and affiliations related to one another, okay. In case if I'm going fast, do let me know, because I have a tendency of teaching fast and going fast. After bibliometric, we have the hybrid review. As the name suggests, hybrid means a combination. And a combination of what? Whatever early 3 previous reviews that we've seen. So I may combine structured and framework. So this becomes a hybrid. Or I might do a structured and a bibliometric. Or I might do an SLR plus bibliometric. or I might do an SLR plus meta. So hybrid is basically we combine a couple of frameworks that are present and then we try to do our literature review. Most literature SLRs that are happening, okay, in the last 2-3 years that I see are hybrid in nature. How do I say hybrid? They take domain, okay, a domain based may they take structure and framework, or theory based may then they add a framework or a bibliometric. Now you would say, ma'am, why are they making it so complicated? Hybrid reviews are more rigorous, more relevant, more complicated, tougher to do, because that's what the demand of editors, that's what the demand of the research world is. They just don't want a, a manuscript to be just a touch and go, giving just a bird's eye view. No, they want something, okay, which is very in depth, which has rigor and so on. I'll also share my one feedback. Okay, one of my co-presenters. So this was in the year 2021. I had participated in IIM Vishakhapatnam's doctoral consortium, wherein doctoral students were presenting their work. So my presentation was done. I was relaxed, okay, and I was just sitting, okay, and I was looking at the other presentations. The next presentation after me was on bibliometric study, just bibliometric, okay, nothing else. The judges or the reviewers, okay, who were giving us feedback instantly as to how our presentation went, I am not kidding, I am very serious, I'm telling you, the one who presented bibliometric, okay, that person, okay, was being scolded by the reviewer, by the what do I say, judge, that this is a very superficial work that you've done. There's no rigor in it. Okay, a software, okay, has given you tables, and that is what you're presenting. What is your finding in it? So I have also heard a lot that bibliometric studies get rejected quickly, and there's less rigor. But that particular instance, okay, has stayed with me, and I've made sure that even if I do a bibliometric study in future, I'm not just going to keep it plain bibliometric. I'm going to combine some other framework based or narrative or structured or something else to improve the rigor of my study. The last type of review, okay, that we are seeing under domain. Now, this is a review where the researchers are trying to develop a theory. What they are doing this is they are developing new models, new theoretical, conceptual papers are also developed out of this, and new frameworks are coming. And these are the frameworks from theory perspective. The earlier framework that I mentioned, that framework was specially for the SLR. So over here, I want to develop a new theory. So for which I will do a SLR. So that sort of review is coming. This is the most highest form and the most beautiful form of research contribution that you can do. Some of you who may have heard about Dr. Justin Paul, okay, his master's marketing or the 7P framework that he's given for international marketing. Those are theoretical frameworks that he has given. Okay, so that comes under review aiming for theory development. Now, let's look at further in depth, okay, about, so we were looking at types of review in which we did structured review, and then structured reviews types were done in detail. The second type of, after domain review, okay, we had theory-based review. I hope everybody is understanding. I'll repeat again. We started with SLR. We then went to types of SLR. Under types of SLR, first one was domain-based. And my last few slides, which was structured, hybrid, theory development, framework, that was all domain-based. Now we are looking at theory-based SLR. I take one theory. Say, for example, in the example, you can see, say, transaction cost theory, resource-based theory, innovation resistance theory, self-determination theory. I take up that particular theory. Using that theory, I download papers that whichever research papers have used this theory, whether it is for qualitative, quantitative, conceptual, whatever it is, I download all those papers and then I do my SLR. So this is called as a theory-based. I hope this is your understanding. So within a theory, when I'm doing a theory based, it's possible that it can be, say, under the CRM domain. It can be under the strategy domain. It can be under business marketing domain. It can be under HR domain. It can be under multiple domains. But the idea is that one theory, how it has been used in the literature. The next one, okay, is the method-based review, as I had mentioned earlier also. Now let me emphasize again. We take one research methodology. As you can as you can see in the examples, say a qualitative study has been repeatedly done in a domain. So we would want to see that qualitative studies done in MOOC. Or in my PhD area, I found that structural equation modeling was used highly. Now you say, ma'am, how can you make this judgment? I had done an SLR. Based on that, I could say that the 70 papers that I had done a systematic literature review on, in that I found that SCM, structural equation modeling, is done almost in 50 odd papers. I can do an SLR on that also. That systematic literature review on the use of SCM in MOOC area. Okay, I can do it that way. So basically, we try to see that which statistical methods, okay, have been used. I can do it on the survey. I can do it, okay, on focus group discussion if that method is being used repeatedly. Somebody is wondering that how many papers we need to consider for SLR, I'll let you know, okay, step by step. Then we had meta-analytic, which I'd explained earlier, again, just to emphasize. We try to see the effect sizes. We use weighted average techniques. We use moderator variables, how they have been applied. Remember, this is purely quantitative. In an SLR, in a normal SLR, I take qualitative, quantitative, everything. Over here, I take only quantitative. I take thesis also. In a typical SLR, I may not take thesis. I'll just stick to research papers. But in a meta-analysis, I take thesis, I take book chapters, I take gray literature, I take everything wherever there is quantitative studies. So that's what, so till now, okay, I've mentioned, okay, about the types of SLR. Any questions till now before I tell you how you do an SLR?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am, this is Ashi. I am a PhD scholar from Jamia Millia Islamia. Ma'am, can you throw some more light on meta-analysis for a while? As I was attending this another session by a professor, he was explaining how meta-analysis is analysis of analysis, which requires pure quantitative data.
Yeah. So I'll tell you because currently I'm working on a meta-analysis project, and let me thank you for asking this doubt. So let me share that screen of mine because I think the last slide was talking about meta-analysis. You're right, okay, that professor who told you that it's an analysis of analysis. In meta-analysis, when I'm preparing my code sheet, okay, I am not so much interested, okay, in the minute details that we look in the SLR. In meta-analysis, okay, the type of information that we capture is the sample size, sample type. We look at the correlation coefficient. We first of all look at only quantitative studies. And that too, those quantitative studies where you have a correlation coefficient and beta values. So whatever I understand little, okay, about research methodology, I cannot use a study, okay, where there might be some quants, say a cluster analysis, okay. If merely a cluster analysis is done, I may use this, okay, for review purposes, but when the data extraction has to happen, that can't happen. Now, the project which I'm currently working on, how we did, okay, we took a topic, we downloaded all quantitative studies, we prepared our Excel code sheet, where we noted down the independent variable, dependent variable, most popular theories that are used, sample size, type, country, etc. Then we did something called as common aliases. Okay, common aliases tells us there are sometimes some independent variables. Okay, their names or nomenclature may be different, but essentially they're trying to measure the same. Say, for example, perceived usefulness, performance expectancy, um, outcome expectations. They are in a way measuring the same, okay, that they're trying to look at productivity, convenience, did your work turned out to be. So under common aliases table, what we try to do is similar meaning constructs or variables are taken together and then we label them. From that, we make a new model, okay, we create an altogether new model. Then from that model, okay, we do data extraction. We go back to the research papers. We look at the R and beta values. We note down in a separate Excel sheet. From there, okay, there are some advanced tools advanced softwares that are available, okay, which helps us in meta-analysis. We do that, and from there, okay, we prepare our manuscript. So that's how a meta-analysis comes. It's purely quantitative. It will not be taking into picture anything that is a qualitative study or a conceptual. I hope I was able to solve your doubt.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Um, so do we have any other question? Um, I think let me just quickly check it. Okay. So scoping review is also something, okay, which is going to have a structure, but it does not have a structure like an SLR. Okay, a lot of people also say that a scoping review is like a review of a review. If I have to say, it talks about a research topic. Again, it looks at some key trends, gaps, etc. But in SLR, there are certain established protocols and frameworks. That is something that we are trying to follow over here. So that is the basic difference that I would like to mention. Let's look at now how do we do an SLR? Okay, now we've understood the meaning of the term SLR, the various terminologies that come. Let's look at that. If I have to do an SLR, okay, you have to do an SLR. What protocols, what methods are we going to use? So I will quickly share my slide with all of you. Okay. So this is the typical step process, which we also mention in our manuscript for an SLR. Okay, in the methodology part, you have to explain that how did you do. So we start first with topic selection. Then we look at journal selection criteria, identification of streams, and the period or the years that we want to cover. We look at the title. We look at the research gaps. We look at the tables, figures, rigor, and relevance. So let me cover one by one, and I'm going to tell you the thumb rules that are popularly followed. Okay. So when we look at the topic selection, okay, you might also be wondering that you want to publish. Your PhD topic is a great way to start. Secondly, you have to look at that, is there an existing SLR that is present or not? If there is already one SLR recently published, then you should not do it. Okay. Make sure that if there is a SLR that is existing, but it is 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, then you can do an SLR for the latest 5 years. Or maybe you can again do it from the scratch. Okay. So what you have to keep in mind is that this is an iterative process as far as topic selection is concerned. Um, uh, what I do is, okay, whenever I take a topic, I go to the Google Scholar and I type the word SLR. And I see, is there an existing SLR present or not? If there is an existing SLR that's present, I study it, I read it so that I get to know the depths of it. I get to know whether I should pursue on it or not, and so on. So initially, Google Scholar can be a great way, okay, to figure out whether you should be doing this or not. After topic selection, okay, the next thing that we need to keep in mind is the journal selection and identification. So, as far as journal selection is concerned, I would always suggest that, okay, the basic, okay, that you can follow is Web of Science journals or Scopus listed journals. That's the least, I would say. High quality SLRs, if you look at, okay, as I've mentioned also, they take papers only from A star. What does that mean? ABDC list is something I'm sure everybody knows. It's a list, okay, of journals where journals have been ranked as A star, A, B, and C. The one A star publication that I have on place branding, we took papers that were published only in A and A star. You will say, ma'am, why did you do that? Why we did that so that we could position our own manuscript in an A star journal. Okay. But when you're going to do a bibliometric, okay, in a bibliometric, you may take all Scopus indexed, everything. So that is going to be there. Plus, there are multiple quality selection criteria that we keep in mind. We look at the Scopus listed, we look at Web of Science, ABDC listing. We also look at JCR impact factor. So is the impact factor 1 and above? If yes, then only we take. If not, so on and so forth. There are a lot of ifs and buts. If you already have so there was one article, one topic that I was working on called as ethnocentrism. It had almost 400 or maybe more than that, research papers I had downloaded. Ethnocentrism in marketing. To do an SLR on 400 articles, okay, is next to impossible. So my mentor, okay, told me that, Jinal, don't take just Scopus, okay, remove, if there are only Scopus, take only ABDC. So from 500, I was able to bring down to 400. 400 is still a huge number, okay? So from 400, I wanted to bring it down further. Then he told me, remove C category papers. I removed. I was able to bring down the paper. Then he told me, remove B category papers, okay? I was able to bring down further. Then I looked at only A and A star. Still, I had, okay, around 250 papers or so. And again, that's also a huge, database, okay, to do an SLR. Okay. Now, what is that magic number that you should be looking at? The past literature says that there have to be at least 40 papers, okay, in a domain. But what I have seen that anywhere, anytime, if you have more than 50 papers, it's a good go, okay? You can go ahead with doing your literature review. Avoid doing an SLR when there are only 10 publications or 15 publications. Now you will say that, ma'am, this is a very new area. That's why there are only 30 publications. So let the literature grow. Wait for 1 or 2 years. Let there be more publication in this domain. And then after 1 or 2 years, okay, as soon as you cross the 40 or 50 limit criteria, you do an SLR. Okay, so that's how you can do it. Now, article search, okay, as I told you, 40 to 50 articles, okay, it's mentioned over here already. We call this as inclusion exclusion. So there are some people, okay, what they do is, there's a first method called as title abstract keywords. Whatever the keywords that you have chosen, if they exist in title abstract or keywords, only then you download. So Scopus databases, okay, when you download those Excel sheets, okay, there are those what you say filters that are available. That you don't want to look at the full text. You will just look at the title, abstract, and keywords, and from there you will download the paper. But what will happen? You will get lesser papers. Or there are some people, okay, who look for full text, that anywhere in the text, okay, this your area is prevalent, then you will do. When do you choose the first method, title, abstract keywords? When you are already in a mature field, when you're in a field, okay, which has already 200, 300, 500,000 papers, then you go for title, abstract, and keywords. That the keywords that you are looking should be present either in title, abstract, or keywords, then only you download those papers. If it's a new upcoming field, you go for full text keyword approach. Okay. A lot of times, through content analysis manually, when you analyze your content, that's how also, okay, you can decide to discard the papers. That's also a way you can do. Next is, okay, identification of streams in time period. So one of my mentor told me that we were doing a theory-based review. So we've taken one theory, and we're doing a review, and we're finding articles of HR also. So and we found so many articles. So he told me, Gina, discard the HR articles, stick to marketing-based articles only. Okay. Or how you can create some, what you can say, fences, or you can create some boundaries so that your SLR, okay, is doable. Okay. It's not an impossible project, that you focus only on 5 years or 10 years, or you focus, okay, on last 20 years. So that's how through year is also a way to limit down your SLR approach. Okay. But the past literature suggests that at least 10 years coverage should be done. Anything less than 10 years, okay, is not something, the reviewers or the editor would appreciate. Now, the next thing that we should be concerned, okay, about is the title. Like, what sort of title you should be giving. Your title should be such that it either explains the domain name or it explains the theory name. Now you say, ma'am, why did you say domain or theory? Remember, we looked at theory-based review, domain-based review. So tomorrow, if you want to do a theory-based review, there is a theory called as resource-based theory. Obviously, you're going to use that as a keyword. Okay, so those appropriate keywords should come in your title. Like, say, for example, in my PhD SLR that I did, I made sure that my domain, which is MOOC, is present. Like, that is something you have to, then you can't have a very fancy, SLRs generally have a very plain vanilla title. Okay, like, say, for example, some examples I've given: mass marketing, a review, synthesis, and research agenda. international franchising, a review and research agenda. Like one which I've done is place branding, a systematic literature review and future agenda. So the word future or future research, future directions is something, okay, you should be looking at. So that's a good way to make sure that your title says. Your title should be able to tell that this is a SLR article. Okay. Um, One reason I forgot to mention that why you should consider doing SLR, it's a great way to get citations. Okay, if you want a lot of citations, you want other people to cite your work, SLR is an excellent way because your work is like the roadmap, okay, for the entire literature. So if you want more citations, also, okay, you can do that. One more thing we should keep in mind, a title should be something, okay, which talks about looking back and looking forward. That means we are reviewing prior research and we are proposing a future research agenda as well. Next is, okay, what sort of research gaps, okay, you can come up with. The gaps can come in the terms of, okay, what theories have been popularly not used or used. What methods have not been used. Like in my area, I found that longitudinal studies have not been done at all. So I mentioned that as a gap. I have mentioned gap that there are some theories that have never been used. Some variables have been rarely used. So like that, I was able to find out the gap. And based on that, okay, we have to give future direction. In an SLR paper, 25% of your paper should talk about future research agenda. So looking back, looking forward. So say 10% part of your paper talks about the methodology that you've used, okay, to come to this whole SLR. A good 20% should talk about what has been the past literature. Why 20%? I think 25, 30%, 30% can be past literature, ye citation hua, ye variables, this construct, this theory. And 25% should be about future agenda. Now you will say, ma'am, how can I predict future agenda? This is where you have to go through every paper. You have to find out the gaps. And some maturity, some understanding is required. Okay. To predict future research agenda, you have to go through every research study and then you are able to predict. And your future research, you can predict in terms of theory, methods, construct, context, which countries research has happened, which it has not happened, and so on. So yeah, so this is what, okay, countries, industries, longitudinal. So you can talk about which countries, industries, okay, research has not been done, which geographies it has not been done, where there has been more qualitative, quantitative, where there has been longitudinal or cross-sectional, where the moderators have not been used, and so on, okay? So like that, okay, you can say. And you can talk about the future research. I think this slide also pretty much talks about the same thing which I've been mentioning over here, that your future research and so on. What is one of the make and break, okay, for your SLR? It's your future research. How strong, how powerful, okay, you are able to write. In a typical quantitative research paper, you will see that future research is something that we write just one paragraph, okay? One paragraph is more than enough. Okay, we don't write more than that. But in SLR, your future research is something, okay, you write, okay, so many pages on it. Now, we will look at, okay, some of the other, okay, tables and figures. Okay, let's look at tables and figures and what you need to take care of, because that is something very popularly that's going to be used in your SLR study. So what sort of tables and figures you need to keep in mind? Again, I will show to you. Generally, there are 3 to 4 figures, some bar charts or, you know, a line chart is what you show. And then there are tables that are there, that are used. Make sure that the tables are clear. Whatever code sheet that you've prepared. So in your code sheet, if you found 200 variables, we don't show all 200 variables in our main study. We just show highly cited or most popular. So at max, I may show 30 popular IVs, 20 popular mediators, moderators. That's how, okay, I will be showing it. Also, I would suggest that go through multiple SLR papers from various domains, see how they have presented the tabular information, figure-based information, and accordingly you decide and design. Every study, okay, you will see that the tables, figures, okay, keep on changing as far as the structure is concerned. So you can also think of doing that. Lastly, talking about the rigor and the relevance, make sure that whatever topic that you're doing, okay, do it very comprehensively. More than 50 papers should be taken for doing an SLR. And you are, okay, able to, you are doing the work in the most transparent manner, okay, so that you do not make any, contradictory findings and so on. And it's done very systematically, okay? So that sort of rigor and relevance is required. Now we look at some do's and don'ts that I would like to talk about. Or let me take the do's and don'ts part later on. Let me skip some of these slides and let me take you through some frameworks, okay? Some popular frameworks that are present. And then we can, go ahead. So has anybody heard about TCCM framework? Theories, constructs, context, methods. Anyone over here? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know, okay, what do I mean by theories, constructs, and methods. I've not prepared a separate slide for it. Now, TCCM framework talks about the popular theories, constructs, that is IV, DV, moderator, mediator, control variables, context in terms of country and in terms of domain, and then methods, what sampling method, what data collection method, whether it was online, whether it was offline, whether you have done regression, whether you've done SEM, okay? All that, okay, is mentioned in the TCCM framework. Okay, this is what we try to do in the TCCM framework. And we collect information. So somebody who has not had the exposure, okay, to SLR. So let me first share my code book to you. Okay, I think then anything and everything that I say henceforth, okay, will make sense. Otherwise, it will be just talking in the air. So I'm sharing my code sheet that I had prepared for making my SLR, and this is how I had collected the information on the Excel sheet. Okay, there's a reference number, serial number. Then there's a full reference number from full reference from the Google Scholar. Now, why did I have this column? So that whichever studies that I want to consider, Google Scholar APA citations, I can quickly transfer it to my Word doc. I went for manual citation. There are a lot of tools available like Zotero, Mendeley that you can use. Then I mentioned the author, year of publication, title, field of research, purpose of the study, keywords, publication, journal publication that has been used, then whether it is a Scopus or a Web of Science. If it's a Scopus, whether it is Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, whether it is a ABDC, what is the JCR impact factor, how many citations it has received, what has been the sample size, how many mails. Please excuse me, okay, it is not, it is 114, but every time I do 114, okay, it's coming like this. I don't know, some formula is already there or something. Then 108 female, what type of sampling method is used, what is the sample type, it is professional students, etc. SEM has been used. I will say I've put one. Now, what is this one? So I have made certain column headings. I want you to focus at the column headings. So these were the popular research methods that were used. You'll say, how did you know that only these methods have been used? Because I'd already read the papers. I read the papers first and then I made the Excel sheet. Or what you can do is as you read the paper, you keep on adding columns. So these were the popular research methods that have been used. And henceforth, any entry that I make, I put one. Okay. You will see fourth paper also I've put one. Why? SCM use hua hai. Sixth paper also I've put why SCM has been used. Seventh paper also SCM and so on. Then third paper they have used regression. So regression ke niche one. And you'll say, what is this one doing? Okay. What is this one helping you? In the end, okay, what we do is we add up. Say, for example, I want to see how many studies, okay, had used SCM. So I'm telling you in a practical way, okay, how I did. Okay, I just total up. I total all these, okay, and I get a certain number. I'm sorry, I was not able to get a number right now, but suppose if I do this, okay, all the studies from here till entry 69 or 71. Let me just quickly look at 70. I don't know whether I was able to get that number. Oh, yes, I was able to get the number. Okay, so there were 59 studies out of the pool of 71 where SCM has been used. Okay, so that's how this one thing comes into picture. Okay, then I had, okay, coming to the column headings, because these headings are very important. Okay, you will also have to make these column headings. Then whether it is longitudinal or cross-sectional, not even one study was longitudinal, almost everything was cross-sectional. Or maybe I think there was one or two studies that were longitudinal. Then how many conceptual, how many empirical? Empirical means quantitative. So accordingly, I've made a note. Then MOOC platform, since my study was on MOOCs, and on which platforms have they done? Whether it was Coursera, EDX, etc. Okay, so I've mentioned that also. I've mentioned and specified that. Then country also. You'll say, why country? Okay, you'll get to know in some time when I make a table out of a country. Then the continents. Okay, I've mentioned the continents also. You can skip the continent part. Although I had noted down information as per continents, but I didn't use it in my final study. Then what sort of method has been used? Okay, let me show you method. Whether it was observation, review. There is already an SLR. Am I doing an SLR and am I reviewing an SLR? सर्वे है क्वालिटेटिव है क्वांटिटेटिव है मिक्स मेथड है so all those things also we notify and from here onwards okay we notify the IV. Just look at the number of IVs. Okay, I must have collected from 71 papers. Okay, the number is really huge. After a point, okay, I stopped counting how many IVs I'm collecting. Okay, but the list was very big till here only IV. Did I mention all of these IVs in my study? No, I just took the popular, highly cited, highly used IVs only. Similarly, mediators. Okay, mediators generally they are lesser in number. Okay, then dependent variables. Dependent variables are also generally lesser as compared to the IV. Then I've mentioned the moderators also. Then what are the theories that have been used? Okay, what popular theories have been used? Then what is the variance? Okay, that has been explained. Now, why did I include variance? Because most of my studies, okay, we're talking about SCM. So wherever SCM was used, I've taken the variance, R square, if you know, okay, what I mean by that. Then key findings and future research from that paper itself, I've tried to note. So this is how I prepared my code book. Then, okay, I will tell you how I made my tables. So I wanted to make a table wherein I wanted to show that based on the journal titles, sample studies, and whether they are Scopus Index, ABDC listing or not. So can you see in the column B, I've mentioned journal title. Now, what is the explanation I've given for this table? I've explained that these are the popular journals of my domain. Somebody is new to this domain. If they're looking at कि कौन से journal में publish करना है, so these are the journals one can look. Okay, the tick mark says that they were Scopus indexed and the GCR impact. There's a separate file. I can share it to you later on. Maybe you can note down this is freely available online, open source, where you get the GCR impact factor. So like this, I made one table. Then I'll tell you, okay, how I did. Okay, then remember I told you about I had collected information as per platforms. So these were the various platforms, okay, MOOC platforms on which research has been done, data collection was done. So based on the various studies I have, so in my main database, I have directly mentioned Coursera EDX. From there, I went further. I did this, okay, I made new additional columns that you see over here. Then I went to every paper. Then I saw the users, so this table says that the sample from whom the data was collected, they have used Coursera, EDX, and FutureLearn. This study, the sample had not specified. This study, the sample have used EDX. Over here, the sample had used Coursera. Okay, like that I had tried to make sense. Okay, like that I had made my this. Then this was some references I had collected for myself, that these are the citations, and then the journals, and how year-wise citation if I want to show. Then sampling. Okay, so in my main database I have shown, okay, what sort of sampling method has been used. So taking information from there, I create additional columns over here. So if I have to tell you, in study 1, okay, they have used snowball sampling. Study 2, they have done convenience sampling. Study 3, convenience, and so on. Study 4, what I found was random sampling was done in 1 or 2 studies, and stratified systematic was done in 1. No study had done quota sampling. So this is one gap I can say, that future studies could use quota sampling, okay, as a uh, somebody is saying that you want me to share Excel. Sorry, I can't share the Excel sheet, boss. This is my research work, okay? Like that is something I can't share. I'm sorry. You can look at what I'm saying, plus the YouTube video will be available. You can do back and forth. The PPT has been made from 3 research papers. I can share the references of 3 research papers, and I advise you all to read those 3 papers. It will give you a great insight. Um, then I have made a table, okay, based on year wise and country wise. Together, I have done that. So Morocco may, okay, if some study has been done, it has been done in 2019. India may, the study has been done 2018 and 21. This table also tells me that there was no study done in 2015 or till 2018. Then this table also tells me that uh, India में there has been a lot of study that, sorry, the table is missing. China is a country where maximum studies have been done. Malaysia is again another popular destination. India में भी हुआ है. Middle East में कम हुआ है. US में तो hardly any studies have been done in my domain. Okay, so yes, so like that, okay, we can look at. So this mapping I have done. Now you see from where I've done the mapping. Okay, I've done from the main database. Right? Then the next country distribution is done. Next thing, okay, this so I explained to you. Now this was clustered IV. Okay, so some commonly used IVs. Okay, I tried to club together. Initially, I had an idea कि whatever commonly meaning IVs, I'll club them together and I will do it. But I did not use this particular information. But I can use this clustered IV if I want to do a meta-analysis for my study. Okay, then next is next table. I had made multiple tables. Finally, study में तो I have shown, okay, only limited things. This table, okay, talks about the theories. So popular theories जो है, I have mentioned over here. And then based on the study. So this study has used UTAD, another study has done TPB. So I mentioned this as theories and models and not just theories. This study has done TUE, another has done Triandas theory, and so on and so forth. Next study, okay, is the IV. This was the most dangerous table, okay, I had to make. Okay, it was so tough and difficult to make this particular one. But anyways, so if I have made, so you will say, on what basis did I decide कि मुझे कौन से variables दिखाने हैं? So I looked at those variables which were highly used. So आप देखोगे 32 studies have used perceived usefulness. So I showed that in my final. One paper has shown direct benefit. तो मैंने वो IV दिखाया ही नहीं है. Okay. But if reviewer wants to know this, so I have all the information available with me. Okay. ये आप देख रहे हो total कुछ variables तो एक बार ही use हुए हैं. तो two things we can decipher from this. One is कि अगर एक ही बार ये variable use हुआ है, we will not use this in our table, okay, in our study. But then we can use this variable for another quantitative study that we want to do because it's very rarely used. Similarly, the variable which has been used 32 times, if you are going to do another study, okay, with the same variable, then it's a redundant study. Okay, it's a repetitive replication आप कर रहे हो तो आपको वो उस तरह से गाइडेंस मिलता है. सो ऐसे हमारा आईवी का टेबल, डीवी टेबल, देन एक थ्योरी का टेबल मैंने इस तरह से भी बनाया था कि टैम 24 स्टडीज में यूज हुई है, एसईटी 2 स्टडीज में यूज हुई एंड सो ऑन. मैंने बहुत अलग अलग ट्रायल एंड एरर किया था. यू से मैडम हाउ डिड यू डू दिस ट्रायल एंड एरर? आई यूज टू रेफर लॉट ऑफ एसएलआर पेपर्स. तो आपको भी ये करना है. जस्ट बाय अटेंडिंग वन वर्कशॉप we can't assume कि पूरा SLR आ जाएगा. You have to do it, okay? Learning by doing है. You have to read multiple papers. तो ऐसे करके मैंने multiple ऐसे कुछ बनाए थे. Then there were papers I couldn't find. Year wise papers भी दिखा था. एक graph बनाया था. So you will see, okay, multiple formats में मैं बनाने की कोशिश कर. So I'll stop sharing this. If there are any questions at this stage, let me know. And then I'll take you to my paper. So step by step, we are looking at things.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, good afternoon.
Ma'am, my question is that if I have a keyword for searching for systematic literature review, and it's already 400 papers in the past 10 years, then should I download all that, and after that I would refine my search, or while searching I should add one more keyword so that my papers get reduced?
Okay. Divya, do you have Scopus access with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you have Scopus access, then you can already include a lot of filtration criteria that it has to be only in title, abstract, and keywords. So that's one way. That will help you reduce your size of papers. Then I would suggest that 400 can be very overwhelming. There have been times where I have given up a project, okay, because there were so many papers and I downloaded everything and then I felt, okay, now I can't do it.
Yes, ma'am.
But there have been times where I have downloaded 200, 300 papers मैंने manually खुद ने देख के कि वो A star है because I didn't have Scopus access back then. So it all depends on you what you would want to do. But doing 400 is very tough.
Ma'am, I'm talking about Google Scholar. From Google Scholar,
हाँ, if you're talking is Google Scholar,
yes,
हाँ,
ma'am.
तो वो तो मैन्युअली हो गया. तो आपको what you can do is you can put some let me show you some criteria that I have been using. So if that can help you, some extensions, okay? I won't say criteria, there's an extension that I use. So I will just go and share my Google Scholar page with you. So can you tell me a topic? Or let's look at this topic, okay? Entrepreneur storytelling. Suppose this is a topic. Can you see this Q1 for A star FT50? Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
When you download papers, are you able to see this on your Google Scholar also?
No, ma'am.
Okay, now the reason you're not able to see this because Google Scholar में एक extension हमको add करना है. I'll just quickly tell you that extension का name. I'll have to go to my own extension का list. That is called as that extension is called as I'll just share my screen again with you all. Okay, wait, this is making it difficult for me. Okay. Can you see rapid journal quality check करके आपको दिखा?
Yes, ma'am.
Over here, rapid journal quality check. You
Yes.
have to go to Google, okay? आपको डाउनलोड करना है, आपको ये एक्सटेंशन आपके गूगल स्कॉलर में ऐड करना है. You have to get it added. Suppose once I get it added, okay, I'm just going to click on this. It's asking you आपको कौन कौन सी information चाहिए. For me, I want to know already, okay, without I manually going to ABDC list कि वो journal ABDC है या नहीं. तो मैंने ये activate किया है. ABS क्यों? बिकॉज आजकल काफी सारे ABS रैंकिंग लाइक 1 2 3 4 होती है, तो इसके लिए ABS. I also want to know whether it is FT50. That's it. I don't want to know whether it is core, CNRS, CCF, BFI, AJG, whatever it is. Frankly speaking, मुझे पता भी नहीं है वो क्या है. I don't shy from saying that yes, मुझे नहीं पता है वो क्या है और मैंने find out भी नहीं किया. मेरे लिए ये information relevant है. Now we'll go back to again this search. अगर आप देखोगे ऑटोमेटिकली ये पता चल जाता है कि ये ए स्टार पेपर है, तो ये तो मैंने डाउनलोड करना ही है. ठीक है, तो मेरे को वो डाउनलोडिंग इजी हो गई है. पहले मैं भी आपकी तरह 500 600 पेपर्स डाउनलोड करती थी एंड देन टू मैन्युअली स्क्रीन आउट वाज सो डिफिकल्ट. लुक एट दिस स्टडी, ओके, इज एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप फॉर यू इफेक्ट्स ऑफ स्टोरी टेलिंग और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप इंटेंशन. अभी दिस इज एनए का मतलब, ओके, इट्स नॉट एन एबीडीसी, probably it's not even a Scopus, who knows, okay? So I am not downloading only this paper. ऐसा. तो ये आपके फ्यूचर के लिए, लेकिन अगर आपने ऑलरेडी 400 डाउनलोड कर लिया तो वो तो आपको मैन्युअली अभी देखना पड़ेगा. You'll have to look at ABDC list and you have to look at Scopus list and so on and prepare an Excel sheet that way initially just to screen कि पेपर लेना है या नहीं लेना है. But without doing that, okay, this is such an easy way. Similarly, I'm not going to take this, okay, storytelling entrepreneur, ये NA लिख दिया है. I'll take you to 10th page because by the time we reach to 10th page ना papers low quality papers आ जाते हैं ज्यादा, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द डोमेन ऑल्सो, लाइक नॉट पॉसिबल फॉर एवरी. अभी देखो स्टोरी टेलिंग ऑफ फीमेल एंटरप्रेन्योर्स कुछ लिखा ही नहीं है, सिंपली यहाँ पे एनए लिखा है. मुझे वो पेपर नहीं चाहिए. आई डोंट वांट सच पेपर्स. Okay, so rapid, I think somebody has written also, I will just mention rapid journal quality check. It's an extension, you get it added. Another extension you should get added, okay, on your Google Scholar is the Adobe Acrobat PDF. तुम बोलोगे क्यों? देखो कुछ पेपर्स मेरे को ऑटोमेटिकली पीडीएफ के फॉर्म में है ना, तो वो इजीली डाउनलोड होने का वो स्कोप होता है. तो these two extensions you should add. Divya, I hope I have solved your doubt and I have not confused you or made things complicated for you.
Ma'am, and I should mention this that there were total these number of papers, and
Yes,
I have
yes.
taken
Yes, you
this.
have to mention that. You have to keep a count of that. That how many non-English papers you removed. I'll show मैं आपको पेपर जब मेरा दिखाऊंगी तो वहां पे भी एक टेबल, एक डायग्राम हम बनाते हैं. वी से टोटल आर्टिकल्स डाउनलोडेड, इतने डुप्लीकेटेड थे, इतने रेपिटेटिव थे. सो दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ रिकॉर्ड कीपिंग हैज टू बी डन. वेरी ट्रू.
And
I have
ma'am,
seen
one
some
more
people,
thing.
I've seen some people वो अपने मन के हिसाब से कुछ भी नंबर्स करते हैं. See
Yes,
what
ma'am.
happens ना, आप लिखोगे कुछ भी, फिर रिव्यूअर जब बोलेगा बताओ कितने डुप्लीकेट है, show us, because reviewers these days are becoming very smart,
Yes, ma'am.
and they were anyways very smart, but they are becoming very 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 quality conscious. That time you say कि नहीं मैंने तो ऐसे ही लिख दिया, no I don't have that record and all, so it's like cutting a sorry figure in front of them. So
And
keep a record. अगर आपने अभी 400 डाउनलोड कर ही लिया है, okay, keep a record of it already.
okay, ma'am, one more thing. If I want to review past 10 years, then it is March, third month of 2025. So will I include this year as whole year 2025?
So क्या होता है ना कि वन और टू पेपर्स विल सी, एक एसएलआर प्रोजेक्ट को मिनिमम 6 months लगता है, मिनिमम. उसमें भी
Yes,
वही,
ma'am.
अगर आप वही कर रहे हो तो भी 6 months लगता है. तो एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द फर्स्ट मंथ, ओके, यू हैड से 60 पेपर्स, एंड बाय द टाइम आपका प्रोजेक्ट खत्म होते आए आपको पता चला एक दो पेपर्स और है, यू कैन नॉट लीव देम, यू विल हैव टू इंक्लूड देम.
Okay.
और वो 2 4 5 पेपर्स ही होंगे. इट विल नॉट बी लाइक सडनली ओके 100 पेपर्स आ गए कहीं से, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं होता है.
Okay.
In
Okay.
fact, it's good, it shows that you have accounted for the latest literature. आपको मैं ये भी बता दूं, जब आपका पेपर रिव्यू में जाएगा, रिव्यू में भी अगर अच्छी जर्नल में दोगे तो 1 2 साल, 1 साल तो रहता है, तो 6 महीने हो गए, 6 महीने के उस रिव्यू में पढ़ा था, 1 2 पेपर और आ गए, तो आप जब नेक्स्ट रिव्यू सबमिट करोगे तो उसमें वापस वो 2 पेपर्स भी इंक्लूड करने हैं फिर.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the point of systematic literature review is state of the art literature, relevant literature of our domain. Everything in our domain, our theory, our industry, we want to cover.
Okay, ma'am.
I hope
Thank you.
that this is clear. Okay. Any other doubts before I move further? Now let me share, since there are no doubts, let me share the research paper on which I have worked around. And side by side, okay, I'll keep on telling you the strategies that I've used. So, and what were the challenges also I was encountering, and so, okay, all of this I'll tell you. So your SLR paper, okay, this is how technology adoption and continuance of MOOCs. So what was MOOCs? MOOCs was my domain. Technology adoption and continuance. These were some popular keywords from the theory of information systems. I had two options. पहले मैंने सोचा था I should have information systems perspective of MOOCs. But क्या हो रहा था, papers बहुत हो रहे थे and बहुत वो haywire हो रहा था. Plus my search strategy was not like that. So I deliberately wrote In future, anybody who is going to download papers just using these keywords, technology adoption भी मेरा पेपर दिखेगा, सिर्फ MOOCs करेंगे तो भी मेरा पेपर दिखेगा, continuous intention use करेंगे तो भी मेरा पेपर दिखेगा. So do you see how comprehensive I've tried to name my title? And then obviously the second part of the title is a systematic literature review, synthesis and future research agenda. Your SLR should have your abstract. Okay, so abstract में भी हम देखेंगे. Okay, how do we write? The first 2-3 lines talk about your domain or industry. That's it. ज़्यादा extra कुछ लिखना नहीं है. The next 2-3 lines you say that research in this domain has been happening, but there is no such SLR है. There is no state of the art literature. Then the next part, okay, third part in the abstract, that you have downloaded, okay, some 70 papers, 71 papers, and from Scopus or Web of Science or ABDC using TCCM framework. Then आपने systematic mapping की है और आप क्या क्या दिखा रहे हो. So ये आपका findings है that we have tried to show information as per your wise journal quality, citations, etc. Okay, ये सब the next part of your abstract tells you कि क्या फायदा है SLR का. तो हम क्या बोल रहे फायदा क्या है? It tells us okay that TAM is the most popular model, etc. Then future research can be done, okay, in American economies or developed economies, and not just Asian economies. And then what are the implications of your study? So ऐसे आप abstract के multiple parts हैं. Whoever is making notes, typically abstract, भले SLR हो या कुछ भी हो, it should, in 1 or 2 lines, it should talk about your domain or the industry. The next, it should talk about the gap, 1 line only gap. Next 1 line, the purpose or the objective of your research. Next should be about what you are studying, okay, like क्या theory या variables आप पढ़ रहे हो. Next line should be about data collection method, sample size वगैरह, वो सब एक line में आपको fit करना है. Plus statistical tools, 1-2 line में वो आना चाहिए. उसके बाद okay, you should talk about the findings. क्या findings है? Again 1 or 2 lines में ही. Then उसके बाद you have to talk about future directions, implications, again in 1 or 2 lines. That's how you get a 150 words, 200 words abstract. Then you need to also have keywords. Again, relevant keywords ही choose करिए. In introduction, what do we write? Okay, we talk about the domain, the industry की MOOCs ऐसे करके domain है. इस तरह MOOCs होते क्या है उसके बारे में मैंने यहाँ पे बताया है. फिर MOOCs कब introduce हुए थे, when they were introduced, what are the what is the MOOCs के advantages, disadvantages, challenges, everything, okay, we mention. 1 or 2 paragraphs उसके बारे में ही हम बता रहे. Then we say कि MOOC related research 2008 में हुई, but the topic in which, but they were all qualitative studies. तो ये क्या हो रहा है, मैं भी gaps बता रही हूँ. जो गैप्स क्यों बता रही हूँ, तो ही जस्टिफाइड होता है ना मेरा ये स्टडी करना. तो मैं बता रही हूँ कि MOOC की स्टडी 2008 से 2012 हुई थी, एंड देन मोस्टली इट वाज इन क्वालिटेटिव इन नेचर. क्वांटिटेटिव स्टडीज तो बहुत कम थे. टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्शन वाले स्टडीज तो 2015 ऑनवर्ड्स ही थे, और उसमें भी यही मॉडल्स ज्यादा यूज हुए हैं. एंड पास्ट लिटरेचर देखा तो कोई SLR है ही नहीं. Then 1 or 2 lines I have to justify कि why an SLR is needed. An SLR is needed to advance the study, to make it state of the art and everything. Then I talk about, तो gap establish हो गया, objective बन गया. फिर focus of the study क्या है वो बताते हैं हम. कि the focus of the study, okay, is to make it structured. We're going to do it from 2015 to 2021 and so on. And research questions हमारे क्या होंगे. The first research question is going to be about relevant studies, theories, etc. Second, I think Ashi has a question. Let me just finish this introduction part, and then I'll take your question. The second research questions, publications के बारे में है, and so on. Then the last paragraph, okay, we say कि SLR करना क्यों है आखिर, okay, किसको फायदा होगा. See, academicians get benefited, researchers get benefited, but industry का क्या फायदा है. So we say that a structured systematic review होता है, detailed understanding हमारी domain की, plus industry लोगों को भी इसका फायदा होगा. So that's how, okay, we do our introduction. Okay, I think Ashi had a question. I'll stop sharing. Yes, Ashi.
Ma'am, in your paper, I wanted to know the referencing style and in-text citation. You have done both parenthetical and narrative ways of citing.
So what happens is, I have used APA style. So APA style tells us that there are some sentences I would want to start, okay, like I'll share with you, okay, like since you're giving reference, okay, from my paper. So it is, the citation style is APA as per the journal, but then somewhere, okay, I have included, okay, in the, like एक पॉइंट बताया है और बाद में मैंने साइटेशन की है, और कहीं पे I think somebody is on unmute mode. Please mute yourself. Whereas somewhere, okay, I may have started with an author also. Maybe यहाँ पे वो नहीं दिख रहा है, but आगे जाके आपको दिखेगा ऐसा कि अगर मेरे को सेंटेंस की शुरुआत करनी थी ऐसा. So like that, I have tried to use the style. I hope this is clear. I hope I was able to make sense of what you were asking. जैसे यहाँ पे मुझे दिखाना, मुझे सेंटेंस की शुरुआत में ही इनको साइट करना है, तो मैंने यहाँ पे ये किया है इस तरह से. बट ये अगर सेंटेंस के एंड में होते, जैसे ये एक मैम है जिनकी रिसर्च है, मुझे इन बिटवीन दिखाना है कि उनका पॉइंट क्या उन्होंने बताया, तो मैंने यहाँ पे एटाल डॉट करके किया है. बट इन्हीं को मैंने इंट्रोडक्शन में देखो कैसे साइट किया है, यहाँ पे पैराग्राफ में.
Got it, ma'am. Got it.
So that is the writing style I think you have. Maybe I'm not able to label them as what you have labeled, parenthesis and something else narrative. I'm not sure, okay, what will be so, what is what called as, but it's depending on the argumentation style. What I know is I have completely followed APA. Like APA में ऐसे allowed है और ऐसे करते हैं, तो मैंने भी किया है.
Got
Okay?
it.
तो कहीं कहीं पे सेंटेंस शुरू हुआ, अभी यहाँ पे दो ऑथर ही है, तो एटाल का स्कोप ही नहीं है, तो एंड आएगा. Then we don't write that another, that this sort of and ऐसा. Okay, then we go to the literature review. Okay, now fun fact, okay, about this paper. When I had submitted for the first review, मैंने जितने भी पेपर्स देखे थे उसमें लिटरेचर रिव्यू नहीं होता था, सीधा दे वुड कम टू मेथोडोलॉजी. तो आई हैड फॉलो दैट एंड मैंने सबमिट किया. मेरे को एकदम बहुत ही हार्श रिव्यू आया इसका, सेइंग कि मैडम यू एसएलआर में भी एसएलआर करे लेकिन लिटरेचर रिव्यू बताना होता है. सो देन आई एडेड द लिटरेचर रिव्यू सेक्शन, टॉकिंग इन डेप्थ, ओके, अबाउट मूक में कितनी एसएलआर्स या क्या पॉपुलर रिसर्च हुई है. सो व्हाट आई फाउंड कि मूक में जितने भी एसएलआर्स है मैंने बताए ऐसे टेबल के थ्रू, इतनी स्टडीज, और मैंने क्या बताया कि ये मैडम ने इतनी स्टडीज कवर की है, ये सर ने इतनी स्टडीज कवर की है, इन्होंने इतना किया है ऐसे करके. ये बताया मैंने. एंड देन आई सेड दैट नन ऑफ दीज पीपल हैव डन टेक्नोलॉजी अडॉप्शन or having only quantitative focus. So that became as my gap. Okay, that became a very strong gap that I was able to do. And ये जो टेबल जितना भी बनाया है उसका मैंने वन लाइन एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया है कि एलबीबीसी एंड यूसुफ ने एक ज्योग्राफिक पर्सपेक्टिव लिया है, टेकिंग 25 स्टडीज फ्रॉम so and so years to understand MOOC's growth and challenges. I was able to justify that none of these SLRs were clashing with my SLR. Okay, maybe I could have included one more table which talks about कि जैसे एलबीबीसी का ग्रोथ एंड चैलेंजेस है, किसी का कुछ और है, तो आई थिंक वो टेबल और बेटर हो सकता था. नाउ आई गेट टू नो दिस. सी यू ऑलवेज क्रिटिक योर ओन वर्क ना, ये तो 2021 की मेरी पब्लिकेशन थी. एनीवे, next is methodology section, okay, in which we tell what an SLR is, what are we trying to do, predetermined search वगैरह है. Okay, जितना भी मैंने आपको according to Paul, okay, an SLR can be a domain based, theory based, method based, out of domain based. Okay, domain based is popularly used in management. Domain based भी क्या होता है, framework होता है, hybrid. So do you see, जो PPT मैंने बनाई उसका ही theoretical version है ये ऐसा. तो इससे इससे क्या हो रहा है कि दीज आर ऑल वेरी वेल एस्टैब्लिश एसएलआर पब्लिशर्स, ओके, नॉट पब्लिशर्स, ऑथर्स, रिसर्चर्स. तो उनको मैंने साइट किया है कि वो ऐसा बोल रहे, तो मेरी स्टडी और बेटर, इट बिकम्स इफेक्टिव दैट वे. देन मैं क्या बता रही हूँ, आउट ऑफ दीज स्ट्रक्चर सिस्टमैटिक लिटरेचर इन्वॉल्व, so उनकी मीनिंग बता रही हूँ. व्हाई डू आई टेल द मीनिंग? बिकॉज then a structure systematic could be author or theme centric, because this is what I'm going to use. So before I use everything, I have to lay down the groundwork. Okay, so then finally what I say, therefore on account of these reasons the current study takes a domain based, structured, theme based approach for the state of the art. ऐसे करके I explain. देन नेक्स्ट है, ये ऑथर बता रहे हैं कि ये एक प्रोटोकॉल होता है जो फॉलो करना होता है, गैप एनालिसिस, टॉपिक सिलेक्शन, सर्चिंग, फिल्ट्रेशन, तो वो एक बताया। फिर अनदर रिसर्च ने ये 5 फेज का प्रोटोकॉल बनाया है। फिर देर इज प्रिज्मा ऑल्सो अवेलेबल, देन देर इज स्पार करके अवेलेबल। what I did was, okay, I combined multiple protocols and this research process I did. The gap analysis, topic selection, research question, literature, filtration, extraction, organizing framework, analysis, synthesis, reporting the results, future analysis, ऐसे करके ये एक डायग्राम बनाया और उसके ऊपर से मेरे सेक्शंस बनाए। तो गैप एनालिसिस, तो कैसे गैप एनालिसिस करते हैं? ओके, so recent studies on MOOC literature, they do not synthesize. Past literature reviews on MOOC, okay, 301 studies किए थे, but they are talking, okay, everything apart from what I am talking. तो उस तरह से मुझे पता चल गया मेरा गैप। The next step, okay, is the topic selection. गैप पता चल गया, फिर टॉपिक। तो the definition of MOOC adoption was adapted from information systems. Initial use, adoption, post adoption are the various stages of technology adoption from information system perspective. तो MOOC adoption का meaning क्या है according to me? Okay, तो it just can't be according to me, it has to be also from past literature. तो MOOC adoption का मतलब है any papers that have spoken about acceptance, initial adoption, continued usage, I'm going to tap those papers. Okay, then मेरे research questions क्या थे? Typically ऐसे ही research questions होते हैं, more or less, that how is the research developed over the years, which journals, okay, publish हुआ है, how many cited studies, what are the various theories, context, etc., what are the future avenues. Then next is search strategy. ये very important part है, please pay attention, because in this we look at the database selection. ये part मैंने PPT में cover नहीं किया है. Keywords, what keywords are you going to use for looking out for your articles? What is the inclusion exclusion criteria? Okay, so these are the popular databases that we all can agree. There is Scopus, there is Web of Science, Google Scholar, EBSCO, Jester, ProQuest, Taylor Francis, IEEE Access. In an SLR, you're expected to go through all the databases to download your papers. तो यूज से अरे मल्टीपल डेटाबेसेस में करेंगे, जो पेपर एब्सको में है वो तो गूगल स्कॉलर में होगा ना, तो डुप्लीकेशन होगा ना, तो वो भी हम रिपोर्ट करते हैं कि कितने डुप्लीकेटेड स्टडीज थे। जो स्कोपस में है तो शायद स्प्रिंजर में भी तो होगा ना, तो अगेन डुप्लीकेशन वो होता है। यू आर एक्सपेक्टेड टू गो थ्रू ऑल डेटाबेसेस। नेक्स्ट इज, अगर आपके पास डेटाबेस एक्सेस नहीं है तो यू नीड टू हैव नेटवर्क of your friends, researchers, जिनके पास हो and who can download on your behalf. Next is you have to specify the time period also. 15 April to 30th April में download किए थे. Now there was one participant who had asked the question कि अभी कोई latest paper है उसको भी include करना है कि नहीं review के time पे। वो तो आपको include करते रहना है, लेकिन यहाँ पे फिर I don't mention that. Or maybe I can mention a line also that main search period was this much, 3 months, 2 months. And then at the time of review, there were 3 more articles that were identified that have been added. वो हम लिख सकते हैं, मैंने फिलहाल नहीं लिखा है. Then the search was conducted on these databases using Boolean terms. I hope you all know what is Boolean terms. We put quote marks, we put and, or, ऐसे करके. Okay? Search strings basically हम develop करते हैं. तो मेरे इसके लिए क्या search strings थी? MOOC adoption, MOOC acceptance, MOOC intention, and MOOC continuance. I could put और मीन्स यहाँ पे तो हम तो जब मेन वहां पे करते तो हम और करते हैं, MOOC adoption और MOOC acceptance और MOOC intention. If I had just kept the words adoption, acceptance, intention, I would have received so many papers. चलो 1.5 hour हो गया है. Let's break the monotony, okay, of our work. Let's do one small activity based on this. आपकी खुद की research area होगी, okay? उसके 4-5 keywords right now, just randomly keywords आप लीजिए. Don't put any quote marks. You put that, okay, in Google Scholar. Like one of my interesting area that these days, okay, is I've been thinking is entrepreneurship storytelling. मैं भी करती हूँ, आप भी मेरे साथ करिए, okay? लेकिन आप अपने keywords use करिए. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't use those Boolean codes, हमें इतने सारे results मिलेंगे and it's impossible to go through those results. इतने सारे, okay, hundreds and hundreds. Can you see 79,100 results? Nobody has the time to go through those results. Okay. Now let me tweak the keyword and let me put the quote marks. Okay. And let me check now. Can you see from 70,000 results कितने 1150 हुए? आपके सामने ही मैंने आपको करके दिखाया. अगेन ये भी बहुत ज्यादा है. ओके, इसमें भी हम काफी नैरो डाउन बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं. But at least we got some good head start. Okay, so what we'll do is let's make it experiential. Let's make this workshop experiential. You all are going to tell me before and after. Before using quote marks, how many papers you were getting using a certain keyword. After using a quote marks, how many papers you got. I request everyone, and you will have to post your response in the chat box. Let's make this as a two-way communication. Let I not be the only one who is talking all the time. आप भी करिए, so that you yourself can see the quote marks का होना कितना जरूरी है. You will have to post this in your chat section. Okay, so I'll also look at the chat section. Sheba saying 5 lakh before after. Okay, Afreen is saying again before after. See, it's fine if you don't mention your topic. If you want to mention your topic, well and good. Divya, from 19,000 to 13,000, good. आप इसको और narrow down कर सकते हैं. Thank you. I want others also. Please don't mind. I'm having tea meanwhile. Okay, just to soothe my throat. What about others? I want to know from others. Okay. 4.5 lakhs, say 19,000. Okay, Jyoti is saying from 22 lakh, say 101 only. Oh my God, wow. Acha. Okay, so one thing we all are very clear कि वो quote marks use करने से search results refined हो जाते हैं. ठीक है? Next, you will see that, okay, I will share my article again. Please don't think that I'm using my article to promote myself and I'm only talking about that. I'm doing so that I can tell you the challenges, realities that I encountered, okay? जो छोटी-छोटी बातें जो हम PPT में नहीं include कर सकते, okay? It's just so difficult to talk about those things in the PPT. So I'm using it. You will see I've used multiple terms, okay? For my search string. I want somebody from the audience to tell me why I use multiple search. और मैंने क्या किया था? MOOC adoption, quote, or MOOC acceptance और MOOC intention सब कोर्ट में और करके ये किया था. Why do we use multiple search strings, multiple keywords in the search string? Please try. You can mention in the chat section or you can unmute yourself. क्या लॉजिक होगा? कितने सारे कीवर्ड्स क्यों यूज किए हैं? मल्टीपल कीवर्ड्स आप खुद ही एक्सपेरिमेंट करके देखिए. आपका जो भी कीवर्ड आपने चूज किया तो उसके आसपास के अराउंड वर्ड्स को आप प्ले अराउंड करिए and then you try to search. Okay, so somebody is saying over here to limit the study to stick to the topic so that you get, okay, so yes, we should stick to the topic, and Jyoti, you're right, we get all the relevant papers. How did I get to know continuance, intention, acceptance? ये words ही मुझे use करने हैं क्योंकि मैंने papers already MOOC के पढ़े हुए थे. मैं PhD का मेरा first year हो चुका था तो MOOC का idea था मुझे. तो SLR जब आप करते हो तो ऐसा नहीं कि सब सिर्फ एक्सेल का काम है, सिर्फ टेबल बना दिया, कुछ तो डिस्क्रिप्शन लिया. नो बॉस, यू हैव टू रीड थ्रू द पेपर आल्सो. मल्टीपल टाइम्स रीड करना पड़ता है. सो फ्रॉम देयर ओनली, फ्रॉम द लिटरेचर ओनली, आई गॉट टू नो कि दीज आर द पॉपुलर कीवर्ड्स. कंटिन्यूएंस है, कंटिन्यूड इंटेंशन करके भी है ऐसे. ओके, कितने सारे कीवर्ड्स हो सकते हैं. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई वी यूज मल्टीपल कीवर्ड. Once the database and keyword is finalized, okay, we try to download the papers, and table 2 gives the details of the paper extraction. Okay, तो दिस इज इन रियलिटी ये नंबर्स ये किए थे, ये मैंने मल्टीपल डेटा बेसिस में अगर मैं ये कीवर्ड्स यूज करती थी तो मुझे इतने पेपर्स मिल रहे थे बैक देन। ओके, मैंने और करके नहीं यूज किया था। अच्छा, ज्योति, you're saying how to choose keywords. You will have to read some papers, or at least you'll have to read the abstracts, and you'll have to see what are the repeated words and patterns. In my case, my domain, information systems mein, adoption, acceptance, continuance, these are generally the dependent variables. और technology uptake, adoption, इसके ऊपर बहुत study होती है. The word adoption itself has been used, okay, crores times. That's why, okay, I was able to narrow down. तो ये थोड़ा सा thematic content analysis, थोड़ा सा आपको back and forth iterative देखना पड़ेगा. That how do you come to the right keywords? ओके, कुछ नहीं तो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट तो पढ़ना ही है. सो ये एक्सट्रैक्शन का हमने बता दिया. एंड the next step was undertaken, okay, to understand the thematic fit. To understand the thematic fit, at least one had to go through, okay, क्या बोलते हैं, I'm sorry, I was looking at the chat section and I lost the link of what I'm saying. Thematic fit का मतलब होता है that पेपर तो आपने डाउनलोड किया, बट इज इट ऑफ योर डोमेन? सो इन माय अर्लियर सेक्शंस यू विल सी आई हैव मेंशन इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स. अगर ये अडॉप्शन एक्सेप्टेंस एचआर का कुछ है, आई एम नॉट वांटिंग टू डाउनलोड दैट पेपर, मुझे नहीं चाहिए वो. तो थीमेटिक फिट के लिए यू हैव टू गो थ्रू, ओके, एटलीस्ट द एब्स्ट्रैक्ट वगैरह. देन यू हैव टू आल्सो लुक एट द इंक्लूजन एक्सक्लूजन फॉर फर्दर शॉर्टलिस्टिंग. ओके, तो हमने क्या कैसे इंक्लूजन एक्सक्लूजन किया? वी लुक्ड एट ओनली पीयर रिव्यूड जर्नल. तुम बोलोगे पीयर रिव्यूड जर्नल कैसे पता चला? आज मैंने आपको बताया रैपिड जर्नल क्वालिटी चेक. टुडे आई टोल्ड यू it's the easiest way to know whether it is a ABDC listed or not. Okay, scholarly publication, we don't take newspapers, we take. Then I have mentioned domain of MOOC adoption only. Anything non-MOOC I don't want. If adoption has happened for mobile payment system, I don't want. If adoption has happened for AI, I don't want that paper. If adoption has happened, okay, for EV, I don't want that paper. Next very important quality criteria listed in Q1 to Q4. Now, very, very important thing, okay, I want to tell you. Initially, I wanted to consider only A and A star journals for my study. You know what? And I had only 25 papers, 25 or 24 papers. Thumb rule क्या बोलता है? You need at least 40-50 papers to do SLR. तो फिर मैंने सोचा अभी ए स्टार रखूंगी तो पेपर कम हो जाएंगे. देन आई डिसाइडेड कि चलो आई नॉट लिमिट टू ए स्टार, आई मेक इट ABDC. When it came till ABDC, papers just increased by 10 or so, 35-40 हुए, अभी भी कम है. So then what I did, I expanded my quality criteria. Then I said, चलो कोई बात नहीं, Scopus तो होगा, Web of Science भी होगा, I will take that paper. Why I did this? Okay, I did this so that I have a good pool of 70 papers. I hope this is clear. I think there are some questions that I am getting. What I'll do is I'll finish this section and then I'll come to the question. Okay, so that I don't, miss. They're specifically mentioning practitioner notes, book chapters, conference papers नहीं चाहिए, वो नहीं लेने होते SLR में. But meta analysis में अगर quantitative paper है conference का, book chapter का, तो we take there. Then यही जो मैंने theory में लिखा है, मैं उसको diagram के through भी मैंने explain किया था. In total 699 articles थे. Duplicate 360 were removed. 339 ओके वो रिटेन, जिसमें 84 नॉन पीयर रिव्यूड थे, अनस्कॉलरली इतने थे, अनरिलेटेड इतने थे. देन देयर वर सम आर्टिकल्स व्हिच वर इंडेक्स्ड इन स्कोपस एंड वेब ऑफ साइंस, तो उनको निकाले. फाइनली आई हैड 70 आर्टिकल्स. दैट्स हाउ ओके आई कम अप विद माय लिटरेचर सर्च स्ट्रेटजी. यही मैंने यहाँ पे एक्सप्लेन किया हुआ है. आई होप दिस इज मेकिंग सेंस टिल नाउ. Okay, and now I will take the question before I move to the next section. There was some long question. Jyoti saying, initially I searched my topic, Google Scholar, so many papers, but after quotation 10, then it means that in this area, there isn't much research. So should I proceed with that area or change? If it's for a normal research paper, 101 is a good number. If it's for PhD, 101 is a lesser number. Or what you could do is you could, अभी I don't know your research topic, तो आपको थोड़ा रिलेटेड फील्ड्स में भी ढूंढना पड़ेगा. लाइक मेरी रिसर्च वाज ऑन मूक, इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स, ये दो पर्सपेक्टिव से थे। तो सिर्फ मैं मूक ही देखूं तो मैंने मूक के 600 पेपर पढ़ लिए थे। सिर्फ मैं इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स ही देखूं उसके मैंने इजिली 800-900 पेपर पढ़ लिए थे। तो मैंने देन आई फाउंड सम कॉमन एरिया बिटवीन मूक एंड इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स एंड फ्रॉम देयर आई टुक माई PhD टॉपिक अहेड। सो आपको थोड़ा बैक एंड फोर्थ वो देखना पड़ेगा। Like it's tough to tell, right, answer without knowing more details. Then there is another, I think, okay, I'm getting some good feedback. Thank you so much, everyone. How to choose keywords? You will see that. You will figure out, okay, as you read more and more your papers. See, reading ke bagair koi chutkara nahi. You have to read your papers if you have to do good work, okay? You will get to know those patterns and keywords ki घड़ी घड़ी टाइटल देखो, आप टाइटल में क्या कीवर्ड्स घड़ी घड़ी यूज हो रहा है, या कीवर्ड के सेक्शन में आप देखो क्या कीवर्ड्स घड़ी घड़ी यूज हो रहा है, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट में देखो, या इन जनरल कौन से वेरिएबल घड़ी घड़ी थ्योरी यूज हो रही है. That's how you get to know your keywords. Okay, so that was as far as till now, okay, the methodology part we looked. Let's look at now the organizing framework. What I'm saying is that I have used the TCCM framework. और मैंने ना ये TCCM framework dual format में यूज किया. See, every SLR has to be unique ना, तो मुझे क्या यूनिकनेस देके आनी थी. एक तो मैंने सर्च स्ट्रैटेजी काफी पुरानी जो मल्टीपल सर्च स्ट्रैटेजीज को कंबाइन करके अपनी सर्च स्ट्रैटेजी बनाई. सेकेंडली, TCCM framework, I have used this to show the present literature and also future literature. ऐसा आपको पता चलेगा as and when I take you forward. तो फाइंडिंग्स एनालिसिस में T stands for theories, most popular theories. C stands for characteristics. Characteristics means IV, DV, moderator. Context stands for the country. MOOC platform in my case. कोई AI के ऊपर करेगा तो AI tool India case and so on. Okay, and method is everything about research methodology, online, offline, sampling method, कौन सी methodology. So let's go by these findings and what I've tried to do. So the first thing, okay, 4.1 that I'm saying, year wise publication. तो year wise publication के लिए मैंने ये diagram बताया और मैंने लिखा that 2015 was the first year. Okay, उसके पहले MOOC adoption research तो नहीं होती थी, दूसरी research होती थी. Explanation हो गया. Then 4.2 is my section for journals for publication and indexing. कि Scopus है, ABDC, JCR क्या है उनका, तो उसके बारे में है. And in this I tell about which are the popular journals जहाँ पे MOOC adoption articles have been published. Interactive learning and computer education. Okay, like that I specify. And I give references also. And उसका ये table है. ये फिलहाल box, okay, this box actually signifies a tick mark. वो final document में नहीं आया, somehow I don't know why. But interactive learning, this journal is a Scopus index journal. It's a Q1 journal. It has such a good, but it's not ABDC. Computers and human beings, it's a Q1 journal. Scopus, it's a A, plus it has a great impact factor. तो बोलोगे इससे क्या पता चलेगा? In future, if you want to do research on MOOC adoption और आप पूछोगे मैडम कोई अच्छा जर्नल बताओ कहाँ पे पब्लिश करें, you look at the SLRs and you see, okay, which are the popular journals which publish similar articles like yours and which are good quality. तो ये table, this table tells us all of those things. Okay, so that is, एक second, this PDF is hanged. Okay, let me just, I think which technical glitch हुआ. Just give me a minute. I will reshare, okay? तो ये टेबल है लंबा खासा, तो जितने भी जर्नल्स पब्लिकेशंस है, ओके, आई ट्राई टू शो, एंड इन माय एक्सप्लेनेशन आल्सो आई हैव शोन दैट, ओके, 40 journals, MOOC adoption research has been covered in 40 journals and so on and so forth. Next section, okay, spoke about the citation. So मैंने तो latest citations बताए. So my last review, okay, was done by 24th November. मैंने सबमिट किया था, तो उस डे पे जितनी भी टॉप साइटेशंस थी वो मैंने इंक्लूड की. तो जितनी बार आपका पेपर रिव्यू होगा, आपका ये साइटेशन सेक्शंस चेंज होता रहता है. एंड व्हाट आई हैव शोन इज आई हैव आल्सो शोन एवरेज साइटेशंस पर ईयर. कैन एनीबडी टेल मी, ओके, जो थोड़ा भी मैथ्स का एक्सपर्ट है, कि why we show average citations per year, and is this column making any sense or not? Before I tell you, I would like if somebody can also decipher this. एवरेज साइटेशंस कैसे अचीव हुआ है? से इफ आई हैव टू टॉक अबाउट द फर्स्ट स्टडी, वू एंड चेंग की जो फर्स्ट स्टडी है 2017 में पब्लिश हुई है, 2021 का मेरा लास्ट मैंने किया है. सो 18, 19, 20, 21 यानी 4 साल, 4 years after their publication. So 584 divided by 4, that's how I came to the number 146. Okay. So can anybody tell me what does average citation mean in terms of the relevance of the study or the importance of the study?
Ma'am, it gives the impact factor for the journal.
Not really. No, no, no. Okay, I'll tell you. Now, between first and second journals, can you see 584 and 545? There is a difference of only 40 citations. ठीक है? A difference of only roughly 40 citations. ये स्टडी 2015 में पब्लिश हुई, ये स्टडी 2017 में पब्लिश हुई. इसका साइटेशन 146 है, इसका साइटेशन 90 है. अगर हमें रेट करना है कि दोनों में से ज्यादा हाईली साइटेड एंड रेलेवेंट क्या होगी, इट्स ऑटोमेटिकली स्टडी 1. एक तो लेट भी पब्लिश हुए बट एवरेज भी उसका ज्यादा है, उसका ओवरऑल साइटेशन भी ज्यादा है और उसका एवरेज भी ज्यादा है. आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग व्हाट आई एम सेइंग? इज इट मेकिंग सम सेंस?
Yes, ma'am.
ओके. हम ज्यादा इस पे जाते नहीं है बिकॉज इतना हम इसके बारे में लिटरेचर में वगैरह मैंने तो नहीं पढ़ा था, मैंने थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा करके ऐसे लिख दिया था. एनीवे, तो ये अब तक तो बेसिक इंफॉर्मेशन थी. ओके, नाउ द टीसीसीएम फ्रेमवर्क बेस्ड इंफॉर्मेशन कम्स. सो फर्स्ट इज थियोरीज. All the popular theories that have been used in I have not listed all of them. आपने देखा होगा एक्सेल शीट में तो इतनी सारी theories थी, मैंने सिर्फ widely used theories के बारे में यहाँ पे sample references and sample theories लिखी है. ठीक है, ऐसे करके. और वो theories कहाँ से आई है, एंड उसमें से 4-5 theories को मैंने डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन किया. जैसे एक्सपेक्टेंसी कन्फर्मेशन मॉडल है, टैम है, सोशल कॉग्निटिव थ्योरी है, यूटैट है, मैंने उनको थोड़ा सा डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन किया. सो आप ही 4-5 मॉडल्स या थ्योरीज को डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करिए, बाकी को आप लेट गो कर सकते हो. ठीक है, सो दैट वाज द थ्योरीज पार्ट. सो टीसीसीएम का टी थ्योरी हमने ले लिया. टीसीसीएम का सेकंड इज कॉन्टेक्स्ट. सो कॉन्टेक्स्ट क्या, मेरे केस में मैंने मूव प्लेटफॉर्म्स बताए, तो मैंने इतने मूव प्लेटफॉर्म्स बताए. एंड अगेन आई डोंट शो ऑल द रेफरेंसेस, वन कैन शो इट, ओके, डेफिनेटली, बट देन दैट बिकम्स सो टू मच एंड जार्गन एंड अननेसेसरी, बहुत इंफॉर्मेशन होती है, तो मैंने सैम्पल रेफरेंसेस दिखाई है. सैम्पल रेफरेंसेस 2 to 5 इज मोर देन इनफ. तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट यानी कौन से मूव प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे हुई. कॉन्टेक्स्ट में मैंने कंट्री वाइज भी बताया है. ये देखो कंट्री वाइज यहाँ पे पब्लिकेशन हुई है. ठीक है, तो ये हमारा हो गया. टीसीसीएम का थर्ड was characteristics. What is characteristics? It is the variables, most widely used independent dependent variables. तो मैंने वेरिएबल्स भी बताया, मैंने हाइपोथेसाइज रिलेशनशिप्स भी बताया. सो मैंने इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल्स, मीडिएटर्स, डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल दिखाया विद सैम्पल रेफरेंसेस, एज यू कैन सी. देन वाइडली यूज हाइपोथेसाइज रिलेशनशिप्स भी बताया. टिल नाउ आई हैव व्हेन आई like 2021 when I was working on this, I had not seen papers, okay, which were showing most cited relationships also. तो तुम बोलोगे तो आपने क्यों दिखाया, कुछ तो नॉवेल्टी अलग दिखाना चाहिए. प्लस आई सॉ दैट कुछ रिलेशनशिप्स रिपीटेडली यूज हो रहा है, तो लेट मी शो ओवर हियर एंड गाइड द फ्यूचर रिसर्चर्स कि ये बहुत कॉमन रिलेशनशिप्स है, आप इस पे काम मत करो, आप किसी और पे काम करो. सो दैट वाज आल्सो द आइडिया. टीसीसीएम का लास्ट पार्ट होता है एम, दैट इज द मेथड. सो मैंने यहाँ पे क्या कोशिश की बताने की, सैम्पलिंग टाइप. तो यू विल सी ओवर हियर सैम्पलिंग टाइप जैसे बताया है. ओके, सैम्पलिंग टाइप एंड सैम्पल टाइप. मेरे को सैम्पल टाइप क्यों सूझा, बिकॉज मेरे स्टडीज में मैंने देखा इट वाज नॉट जनरल पॉपुलेशन, इट वाज समटाइम्स स्टूडेंट्स, प्रोफेशनल टीचर्स, ये प्लस बेस्ड ऑन दिस सैम्पल टाइप I decided to do my PhD, okay, on millennials. In fact, millennials was my PhD topic पहले से ही. So I was able to justify that none of the studies till now is focusing purely on millennials. See, when they say professionals, professionals of all age groups, students of certain age group, teachers of certain age group, millennials या Gen Z करके ये शब्द था ही नहीं, तो मेरे लिए मेरी PhD की गैप जस्टिफाई करना कितना इजी हो गया. Okay, so that is the findings. Next, what I told you, future direction, which is again at least 20 section, 25%, 30 section, 30% section of our paper. So let's look at future direction. मैंने इसमें थोड़ा सा एक novelty लेके आने की कोशिश की. Rather than just blindly writing future directions, what I did first, okay, was एक तो table format में दिखाया कि ये studies, पुरानी studies बोलते, पुरानी studies की future studies को पहले दिखाया. I'll repeat again. I don't want this to be a tongue twister or confusing. The first table, okay, in the future direction, what I showed was that the past study are themselves claiming that this should be the future studies, that this is what you should be doing. I showed that, okay. Second, I again applied the TCCM logic in my future directions. Means what? I took a theory part and I said, already past theories बहुत popularly use हुई है, कौन सी theories नहीं use हुई है, तो मैंने बताई यहाँ पे मेरे इसमें कि मूक के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में these are the theories that have not been used or models. Future researchers, please use them in your studies. तो आपको भी अगर मूक पे कभी फ्यूचर में स्टडी करनी है तो आप मेरी स्टडी को साइट कर सकते हो, बोल सकते हो कि इन्होंने बोला है दिस एसएलआर स्टेट्स दैट टैम 2 पे नहीं हुआ है, आईआरटी पे नहीं हुआ है, सो वी वुड वांट टू डू मूक अडॉप्शन ऑन आईआरटी, ऐसे करके. एंड देन इन थियोरीज को ब्रीफली एक्सप्लेन किया, बीआरटी को एक पैराग्राफ में, ओके, टैम 2 को एक पैराग्राफ में, हर एक को छोटे छोटे पैराग्राफ में ऐसे एक्सप्लेन किया. टीसीसीएम का सेकंड वाज कॉन्टेक्स्ट, कौन से कॉन्टेक्स्ट में लोगों ने रिसर्च करनी है. तो हमने तो टेबल में देख लिया कि एशिया में बहुत ज्यादा हुई है लेकिन अमेरिका में नहीं, तो अमेरिका में लोगों को करनी चाहिए. फिर मूक प्लेटफॉर्म्स, कोसेरा IDX पे पूरी स्टडी हो रही है, कोई स्वयं पे कर नहीं रहा या कम हो रही है, एनपीटीएल पे कम हो रही है तो करनी चाहिए, ऐसे करके फ्यूचर डायरेक्शंस दिए. देन इन टर्म्स ऑफ कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, ओके, कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स में अगेन आई स्पेसिफाइड दैट पेडागोजिकल फैक्टर्स कवर नहीं हुए हैं, पर्सनल इनोवेटिवनेस, कॉग्निशन जैसे नहीं हुए हैं, मॉडरेटर्स बहुत कम यूज हुए हैं. देन इन टर्म्स ऑफ मेथड, सेम ही यूज हुआ है हर जगह पे, सेम या रिग्रेशन. लाइक आउट ऑफ दीज 58 स्टडीज हैव यूज्ड सेम. हमने एक्सेल शीट से कैलकुलेट भी किया था ना, 58 ही आ रहा था नंबर. तो हम क्या बोल रहे हैं, फ्यूचर स्टडीज ओके शुड यूज मिक्स मेथड, दे शुड यूज क्वालिटेटिव, दे शुड यूज लॉन्जिट्यूडनल, ओके, एक्सपेरिमेंटल करना चाहिए, एक भी एक्सपेरिमेंटल नहीं था, ऐसे करके. सो ये फ्यूचर डायरेक्शंस पार्ट यहाँ पे खत्म होता है विद टीसीसी. देन कम्स द इम्प्लीकेशंस पार्ट कि ये सब एसएलआर करके क्या फायदा होगा. Okay, so you have to explain who gets benefited and why, practically and theoretically. Then you have to give limitations also of your study, that you have not considered the gray literature. Your search terms are limited to abstract title keywords and so on. And then comes obviously the conclusion, which summarizes the entire study, and then the references and so on. So any questions at this point? There's a question from Shiva. Ma'am, could you please tell how to choose framework for a study and what exactly does framework show, and can there be more than one framework? Yes. There is one framework called as ADO, Antecedents, Decisions, Outcomes, जिसमें IVDV के बारे में ही होता है. मैं आपको कुछ पेपर्स भी आपको शेयर करके बताती हूँ. I think then it will make more sense. Otherwise लगेगा कि मैं हवा में ही बात कर रही हूँ. So let me share that paper. Okay, that's not my paper. That's a paper from a very, very renowned, okay, established researcher, Justin Paul. Okay, he's like the father of SLR. उन्होंने इतना अच्छा काम किया हुआ है. तो this was his study, okay, a review of research on outward FDI from emerging countries including China. What do we know? How do we know? And where should we be heading? See, he didn't use the word a systematic literature research agenda. He has chosen to use this ऐसा. This is also fine, but you know ये कीवर्ड से गूगल स्कॉलर या डेटाबेसेस वो पकड़ेंगे कि नहीं, वो एक डाउट होता है. अभी अगर हम उनका पेपर देखें, what he has done, he has used this framework, antecedents, decisions, outcome, format, for organizing the literature. The framework जो हम बोले ना, लिटरेचर को ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए है. 25 years between 1983 to 2017, and they have done some papers. So हम वो टेबल पे जाएंगे जहाँ पे antecedents, decisions, outcomes दिए हैं. So antecedents, IVs, decisions, okay, location, entry mode, and then these are the outcomes. So उनको इस तरह से ये मिला हुआ है. Outcomes are generally your dependent variables or something. Then country के फॉर्म में उन्होंने दिखाया है. Then you will see that author, type of article, method, major findings. He has chosen to do this. ये उनका काफी पुराना आर्टिकल, आई थिंक 2020 का है या 19 का है, इसलिए ऐसे है. नाउ जितना हम कम थियोरी लिखोगे टेबल्स में और जितना उसको न्यूमेरिकली या रिफाइंड वे से बताओगे, आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इज प्रेफर्ड. I will share the references, okay, APA style references of all of these papers in the chat section. आप लोग सब कॉपी कर लीजिए उसको. तो ये ADO था. और एक फॉर्मेट बताती हूँ. I'll show one more format, which is, you know, who, how, what, when, where type style में किया हुआ है. In earlier days, like say almost 15-20 years पहले, only the thought leaders and established people of a certain domain would do SLR because उनकी वो पकड़ थी theory पे. But now there are so many research papers that have been made how to do SLR. So now this knowledge is available for all of us. In this research paper, there's a different method that they have done. What they have done is, okay, I'll just increase the size so that abstract पढ़ा जा सके. Following 6W systematic review design and protocol. What is 6W? Who, what, when, where, how. Okay, उन्होंने वो स्टाइल किया है. उन्होंने कुछ 250 studies, okay, is what they are claiming. Who, तो who में क्या बोल रहे हैं? Who conducted the search for data? When, period. Where, which country? How, number of databases. What, okay, what did you keep? Why, final selection criteria. तो एक तो रिव्यू प्रोटोकॉल के लिए उन्होंने ये यूज किया है एंड नॉट एज अ फ्रेमवर्क. ओके, तो रिव्यू प्रोटोकॉल में उन्होंने ऐसा किया है. एवरीबडी यू नो, कोई प्रिज्मा यूज करता है. देन प्रीवियस स्टडीज, ओके, उन्होंने इस तरह से ये टेबल दिखाने की कोशिश की है. नंबर ऑफ ऑथर, साइटेशंस, जर्नल. दिस इज ऑलमोस्ट लाइक द एक्सेल शीट दैट आई शोड टू यू. ओके, रिव्यू पीरियड, रिव्यू कैसा, एक्सप्लोरेटरी पर्सपेक्टिव है, सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया. तो दे आर टेलिंग कि पुराने जो रिव्यूज हुए वो इस तरह से हुए हैं. ओके, वो आई थिंक दिस इज अ रिव्यू ऑफ रिव्यू वो करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. This is what they're trying to show. And anything else relevant? Okay, so yeah, this is what there is. I have got one or two questions. Let me just take. Ma'am, only research paper will be included in SLR? Yes, only research papers. You do not take. See, क्या होगा ना? It is a synthesis. जैसे अभी if I have to give you a common day to day का experience, हम जो आटा मंगाते हैं, the flour, wheat flour that we get from outside, हम उसको घर पे छानते हैं ना, we sieve it, right? We filter it out so that कुछ कंकड़ पत्थर या कुछ दूसरा है वो ना रह जा सके. SLR is exactly like that. You have to filter out only good literature. And what is good literature? A literature which is peer reviewed, which is published in at least Scopus, Web of Science, ABDC, ABS journals, Impact Factor, and so on. That's why we do not take book chapters, we don't take thesis. But meta-analysis hota to book chapter bhi lete, thesis bhi lete. Next question is from Renu. How old literature we should take? Well, that depends from field to field. मेरा एक A-star का publication है, where the oldest paper was from 1983. So depending on your domain, okay, you'll have to take. The next question, okay, that we have again from Renu. What is the difference between SLR and literature review? A literature review, okay, essentially is just that I'm reading papers and narrative style में, para style में, बस मैं उसको note किए जा रही हूँ, जो बहुत लोग पुरानी thesis वैसे लिखते थे. Whereas in SLR अगर आपने अभी देखा, Okay, we are making tables, we are making diagrams. एक structured format में हम literature का आपको perspective दे रहे हैं in terms of variables, theories, methodology, and so on. See, whether you take away anything from this session or not, one thing you take away, SLR is a systematic, structured way of synthesizing the past literature, at least in the form of theories, variables, methodologies. बस आप इतना याद रखोगे तो भी at least some takeaway. Next question, okay, Jyoti is asking, ma'am, what you said means we have to take only research paper or review paper for SLR. Please repeat. Yes, dear, you have to take only research papers. You cannot take news articles, YouTube videos, you cannot take book chapters, you cannot take conference papers or thesis for an SLR. आप लोगे ना अगर कॉन्फ्रेंस पेपर आपका कोई अच्छी जर्नल में जाओगे पब्लिश कराने, वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करेगा. I hope this is making sense. Any other questions, participants? In case the earlier chats, if I've missed, and thank you everyone, okay, who has appreciated this session. Thank you so much. But in case if any question, अगर कुछ miss out हुआ है, please let me know. No questions? You have understood everything till now? Okay, Sangdeep, okay, thank you so much for this question, that what are the shortcomings of SLR and when we compare with meta-analysis? Okay. See, in the research world, what happens now? The moment one methodology becomes popular now, everybody tries to do that. So in the last 4-5 years, Sangeet, there have been so many SLRs that get published every now and then. कि अभी कोई SLR करता भी है ना तो उसको नॉवेल्टी बहुत बार नहीं माना जाता है. आप इंटरव्यू में भी आप जाओगे, अगर आपकी सारी पब्लिकेशन सिर्फ SLR की है तो वो रेड फ्लैग माना जाएगा. सो वो एक शॉर्ट कमिंग है. Again, SLR is telling us thematically only in terms of content analysis है, technique है वो of SLR. Whereas meta analysis में हम quantitatively जाते हैं ना, हम quantitative studies ही लेते हैं. We take only quantitative studies. So meta-analysis is more rigorous, okay, in terms of SLR. It is a further refinement of a domain. So if I have to say, bibliometric comes a little, see, सारी methods अच्छी है, but अगर हमें ranking भी करनी है, bibliometric, उसके ऊपर SLR, उसके ऊपर meta-analysis. So if somebody over here wants to start their PhD journey, I would say कि आपके domain की पहले एक bibliometric study publish कर दो, या biblo and SLR combine करके एक publish करो. Suppose biblo individually की, then SLR, then you go for meta. That means you are like the ultimate thought leader of your field. You know everything about your field through your publications. You know, one can say that. I hope, Sangeet, this was helpful for you. SLR, more of thematic content base. Meta is quantitative in nature. SLR popularity is going down. Meta's popularity is increasing, and it is to go forward. Thank you. There are such wonderful feedback from all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. There's one question in between. Any software application available to conduct SLR? No. SLR manually करो. AI होगा मुझे नहीं पता है. I have not encountered and मुझे जानना भी नहीं है because I'm sure होता होगा. जो like the other day some of my data science students were telling me कि मैम machine learning से हम ये वो सब कर सकते हैं ये वो. I don't know the tool. I'm sorry. मत करिए आप सॉफ्टवेयर, आपको फिर फील्ड नहीं पता चलेगी, वो फील्ड के बारे में आप नहीं समझ पाओगे. और क्या ना, एक बार एक SLR करके मल्टीपल 2-4 पब्लिकेशन करने उसी डोमेन में, क्योंकि गैप्स इतनी सारी पता चल गई तो गैप को यूज कर सकते हैं. वो आप मशीन को बोलोगे मशीन लर्निंग AI ये वो को, आप फिर उससे फ्यूचर पब्लिकेशन या रिव्यू के टाइम पे डिफेंड करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. माइनर मेजर रिव्यू आएगा ना, इट विल गेट वेरी टफ. मेटा एनालिसिस के लिए सॉफ्टवेयर्स होते हैं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकलेक्ट राइट नाउ, बट देयर आर सॉफ्टवेयर्स व्हिच डू द कैलकुलेशन पार्ट. वो डेटा एंट्री कोडिंग तो बस यू हैव टू ओनली डू इट. Okay. I try, but it's highly enough to use AI, and also as a researcher without reading properly, you cannot scan it. Absolutely true. Kartikeya ma'am, will you please show the format of SLR again on the screen? Was not visible on my side due to network congestion. Which format, sir? SLR? What format? Okay. Calculation can be done using R, Python, SPSS. Yeah, meta में वो possible है. Excel में भी होता होगा. I'm sure. Okay, I'm definitely sure. Now somebody, okay, who is asking कि Excel sheet में हमें क्या क्या include करना चाहिए. So I'm going to mention that in the chat section. आप copy paste कर लो. Plus मैं वो papers के references भी copy paste कर लूँगी. अब वो भी रख लेना अपने पास. कॉपी कर लेना and then you can read and you have to read. ऐसा नहीं कि मैम का सेशन अटेंड कर लिया तो सब समझ में आ गया. नहीं, आपको भी आपकी पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी by reading those papers. Then this knowledge that okay I've tried to share, it will stay with you forever. तो पहले हम हमारा एक्सेल का कोड बुक के डिटेल्स हम ये करते हैं. Okay, what I'll do is मैं ना पीपीटी में ये करती हूँ, टाइप करती हूँ. For me typing is easy on PPT for the Excel code book, and then you can take a screenshot or something. I'll share it with you right away. This PPT. I'm not yet done. Okay, there are many more things I want to say, but let's just do this. So firstly, we have a serial number. You will say why serial number is required? Because you have to save your papers also based on the serial number. Serial number. Then you have, yes, there's a question. Hello. If there's a question, please ask. What's her name here? I have worked since in 4-5 SLR, तो अभी ये format ही दिमाग में बैठ गया. Journal, title, purpose, keywords, subdomain. Okay, I'm just going to make 3 columns because yes, many आएगा. Then we talk about scopus, Q1 to Q4. We also talk about Web of Science sometimes. We talk about ABVC, JCR, impact factor. Then next, what do we talk about? Citations कितने हैं? Then next is sample related information. So sampling type, sample type, sample size. Then we also show male, female separately, online, offline data collection हुआ है, cross section और longitudinal है. Then whether it is survey, no, sorry, qualitative, quantitative. Okay, let me take this. Let me take it over here. Second more space. We write whether it is then we write whether it is concept. अच्छा, quali, quanti and mixed होता है. Then we say whether it is conceptual or empirical. Okay, that is what we write. Then we talk about then एक research method में then we write whether it is survey or FGD or content analysis or interview or experiment. Okay, ऐसे करके हम बताते हैं. Then if you want to use statistical tool, that is also, you can show that information accordingly. SEM हुआ है कि regression, etc. Then IV, DV, mediators, moderators, variables. Please keep yourself on mute. Participants are getting disturbed. Theories, theories के बाद we will talk about major findings. Major findings में basically या तो hypothesized relationship अगर आपको दिखानी है तो that will come only for quantitative studies. Hypothesized relationships के बाद you want to show major findings, तो हम verb I mean textually लिखते हैं, हम actually beta value वगैरह ढूंढने नहीं सकते and future directions. Okay, so this is your Excel code book. This is like the A to B, sorry, A to Z of your research paper. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this if you want. You can use this. Okay, so this is as far as Excel code book is concerned. Anything else from my side? I have to give you 3 references. Important readings करके एक है. Okay. I think somebody is on mute mode, unmute mode. Okay. So this is first paper, okay, you should be reading. Okay. Then second paper on literature review, you should be reading. मैंने क्या किया है, आपको टाइटल दिया है and author name दिया है. This you can put in Google Scholar and you will get it. Okay. And ये नहीं है, दूसरा कुछ मैं आपको एक दे देती हूँ. मैंने जो एक W framework. Organize the silence. Somebody who's on unmute. Okay.
Ma'am, you
Participants,
can see
please
the participants in
mute
mute them.
yourself.
Okay, I can do that. I have that. Okay.
You are right.
If you are the
Jyotina,
host or the
you can
co-host, you
use
can do that.
Okay, I can do that. Okay, so Mr. Govind, I'm keeping you on mute. Karthikeya, I'm also keeping you on mute. Okay. And one more paper I would like to share with you. Okay, it's a great. So in total 4 articles, I would urge you try and read them in this week itself because मैंने आपको जो भी सिखाया समझाया है प्लस आप ये रीड करोगे so this knowledge will stay with you forever. Okay, then you will never forget what we are discussing. Somebody was saying कि उनको Excel code book चाहिए तो रुको, let me give you a screenshot of that. मैंने ये chat section में screenshot डाल दिया है तो आप डाउनलोड कर लीजिए. Any questions, anyone? Anyone has ever tried doing an SLR?
Ma'am, I tried to did that, but at the same time, I found it to be it's good, definitely very good, but at the same time, it takes a lot of time. So to
Yeah, it's
do
very
one
tedious.
paper, you need to spend like hours of time. I added few additional criterias like what have been the impact factor of the paper, how many times it has been the citations had been there, what methodology that paper has used, whether it is matching with my own research objective or my methodology, publication, how old it was, so what is the recent most sort of things. So keywords that use. So even to do one paper analysis, it takes hours of time. It won't be
It takes a lot of time.
so
It
easy.
takes
Yeah.
a lot of time.
But it gives a lot of clarity. Like whatever paper you have
Yeah,
referred, it's well
absolutely.
thought paper.
Yeah. So I have taken these sessions earlier and मैंने मूक के कुछ 600 पेपर पढ़ लिए, SLR आई मीन इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स के भी 800-900 पेपर पढ़ लिए एंड अंधेरे में मैं चल रही हूँ. But the day I did SLR, everything fell into place. Everything fell into place. Then I have to deal with only these 70 papers. And एक बार नहीं, I have read these papers 2-3 times. तब जाके वो एक पब्लिकेशन अच्छी बनी, तब जाके गैप्स अच्छे आइडेंटिफाई हुए, 3 मेरे दूसरे पेपर बन पाए, क्वांटिटेटिव कॉन्फ्रेंसेस में मैं जा पाई. I share my contact details not okay for marketing myself. I don't need to do that. There were few participants asking me in the private, okay, about my details. So I thought, okay, let me share it with everyone. And in case if you're reaching out to me, please introduce yourself, okay, and then you ask your query or something. Otherwise, okay, it's difficult, I say, anjan, strangers say to interact as such. Okay. So as far as okay SLR is concerned, okay, let me take you through okay some more slides, okay, which I had made and where I was, wanting to tell you कि कैसे वो कर सकते हैं हम. And in between there are questions. Acha, before I take you through the slides, okay, suppose, okay, if you are already somebody who's done a PhD and you're really amazed, okay, आपको इस पे काम करना है. SLR is a great way to do a collaborative project. Collaborative study करनी है तो SLR बहुत अच्छा होता है. कैसे? Okay, I'm right now working with couple of teams for different topics. कहीं पे मैं गाइड कर रही हूँ, कहीं पे कोई मुझे गाइड कर रहा है. कहीं पे मैं सब एक्सेल शीट का काम कर रही हूँ, कहीं पे कोई मेरे अंडर जो मेंटीज है वो कर रहे हैं. So, you can form a team of yours of 2-3 people or at least 2 people कि ये जो सब काम है ना एक्सेल शीट को करना, वो आप आपस में डिवाइड कर सकते हो कि चलो 100 पेपर तू करो, 100 पेपर तुम करो, कुछ टेबल्स तुम बनाना, कुछ टेबल्स मैं बनाऊंगी, कुछ सेक्शंस मैं लिखूंगा, कुछ सेक्शंस तुम लिखोगे. सो जो प्रॉपर डिविजन ऑफ वर्क होता है, SLR is a great way. Okay, you can divide your work and you'll see the project actually happening. Okay, a lot of collaborative work doesn't see the light of the day, but this I can guarantee SLRs do happen. Work conflicts नहीं होते because work is so properly divided, between people. Acha, towards the start, okay, of my slides, I had mentioned about this 3A framework, okay, assembling, arranging, assessing. So what does this mean? Okay, this is something I've taken, okay, from the SPAR research paper, the last research paper which I shared in the chat section, वहां से मैंने ये लिया हुआ है. तो SLR में important क्या है? Identification. Identification किसका? Domain का, research questions, source type, and source quality. I hope we are clear on these 4 things. Okay, what domain we want to do? Generally, it is our teaching or a domain which we like. Research questions, what, when, where, how. ये तो same ही रहता है mostly हर जगह. Source type, journal. If you have a target to publish in A category journal, then what should be your journal selection criteria? Then you should look at papers that have got published only in A and A star. If your criteria is to publish in any ABDC, B or C category, तो आपको फिर ABDC के papers ही लेने चाहिए. Then आपको scopus में नहीं जाना चाहिए. Okay, why do I say this? Can anybody tell me? I'll repeat again. If I want to publish in an A star journal, A category journal, I should take only A star for doing SLR. I should not take B, C, Scopus, Web of Science वगैरह. Why? ये बहुत important point है.
Ma'am,
Let's
probably
discuss.
because the rigorousness of the C and D category is always questionable.
Yeah.
And any publication in A and B particularly go through a lot of rigorous this thing. It's not easy. 3-4 years people wait, and then that happens. So itself becomes reliable. Reliability is very high. So that's why that's the reason.
Absolutely, Govind, you're so right. Okay, so we say that हम ये personal bias हम नहीं कर रहे हैं. The research world, the research community has set certain quality parameters in the form of ABDC list, in the form of Scopus Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, in the form of peered, non-peer review. तो हमारा गोल ही बड़ा है, इसके लिए हम अच्छी क्वालिटी पेपर्स ही लेके. अगर हमारा गोल यानी I want to just get published in any C category, B category, तो हम कोई भी ABDC पेपर लेंगे. It's all about that. That means sourcing of your journals, okay, becomes so important. Sourcing the articles from the right journals. Next is acquisition, search mechanism and material acquisition. Okay, तो अगर आपके पास स्कोपस वगैरह नहीं है तो आप क्या करोगे? तो गूगल स्कॉलर तो है. गूगल स्कॉलर मोस्टली विल हैव all the papers. It may not show you some papers which are under a paywall. तो आपको आपका एक network of फ्रेंड्स इन कम्युनिटी रखना है जो आपके साथ आर्टिकल्स शेयर कर सके, देन यू हैव टू बी वेरी क्लियर ऑन द सर्च पीरियड, एंड वो सर्च पीरियड स्पेसिफाई भी होना चाहिए. The search keywords, you have to use boolean words, okay, etc., such terms. And then total number of articles भी आपको specify करना है. Then in terms of framework, जो हम बोलते हैं organizing framework, we saw we have ADO, we have TCM, which is theories, characteristics, methods. We have TCCM, we have 5W1H framework. कोई तो एक framework से आपको आपका पूरा paper को structure करना है. Purifications, okay, purifications is also required. Article type excluded, article type included. You have to put forth all of these things. Then assessing, analysis method, okay, क्या करोगे आप? bibliometric, content analysis कर रहे हो, meta, thematic, agenda क्या propose कर रहे हो, and then you have to report accordingly, figures, tables, etc. So this is something, okay, you should be knowing. And this वही यही सब जो मैंने बोला, यही सब details में है, which you will find in those papers also. Okay, some things, okay, don't do SLR. Why you should not do SLR? Just to get published. Okay, just to build your CV. Yeah, out of all the publishing, SLR is relatively easy. थोड़ा सा है easy, okay, because see, जिसको statistics से बहुत डर लगता है ना, उसको शायद SLR बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. तो चलो, इसके लिए should I do SLR? No, not the right reason to do SLR. And if you just do keep on doing SLR, it shows that you are not a complete researcher. Also, some people don't want to do field work, they don't want to collect data, that's why they're doing. These are not the reasons, okay, to do SLR, okay, completely no. When to do an SLR? 40 plus articles. At least 5 years का time gap तो होना ही चाहिए. At least 5 year period तो आप review कर ही रहे हो. Better quality journals वगैरह, okay. Avoid an SLR if high quality reviews already exist. अगर पहले से already किसी ने किया हुआ है तो मत करिए. अगर पहले से है but it's in a low quality journal, C category है, और आपका target है A category, then you may try. But still you will have to work very hard to justify to the reviewer कि आपने क्यों किया, जबकि ऑलरेडी एक SLR एग्जिस्ट कर रहा था. Okay, there's a question, ma'am, the reason could be generalized. No, there's a not question, response of higher ranked journals is more. You're right. Okay, conduct an SLR if existing high have gaps or limitations. You should be able to see those gaps. और इसके लिए कोई भी फील्ड के 15-20 पेपर तो पहले पढ़ो, तब पूरी तरह से पढ़ो, तब जाके ये एक्सेल शीट वगैरह सब बनाने बैठिया. Avoid an SLR if there are no significant gaps in the recent high quality reviews. Okay. ABBC and Scopus is very popular for most journals that I know. I think engineering में SSCI वगैरह ही use होता होगा. अभी where to publish में I'll tell you some difficulties that I have felt. Whenever you write an SLR, generally 10,000 words के ऊपर तो article easily होगा ही. A lot of journals have a word limit of 6,000 words, 8,000 words. तो आप तो वहां पे sorry, so आप वहां पे दे ही नहीं सकते. तो एक thumb rule if I have to give you, look for those journals, okay, where there's no word limit. Okay, I'll repeat it. I think Sachin, I'm muting you. Okay, so again, okay, so which journals should you look at? First of all, you should look at journal which is either Elsevier, Wiley, Sage, Springer, Taylor, Francis, Emerald. प्लस आपके पूल ऑफ SLR में कौन सी जर्नल में वो टाइप का आर्टिकल था, तो वो भी एक अच्छी जर्नल हो जाती है. नेक्स्ट इज whether that journal, okay, does not have word count limit, तो बहुत ही अच्छा हो जाएगा. सी क्या होता है, आप जब जर्नल फर्स्ट टाइम सबमिट करोगे 10,000 वर्ड्स था, रिव्यूअर ने बोला ये करो वो करो, फिर 1,000 वर्ड्स बढ़ गए, फिर ऐसे 2 रिव्यू 3 रिव्यू ऐसे करते 1,500 वर्ड्स हमेशा बढ़ते जाते. एंड देन इमेजिन लास्ट में दे से नो नाउ रिड्यूस 2,000 वर्ड्स, कितना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. ओके, सो ऑलवेज चूज जर्नल्स व्हिच हैव probably they don't have the word limit criteria. Then there are some researchers who say that you should go for those journals which are already open access. Okay, open access होगा तो आपकी जितनी publication open access होगी, more and more people can read it, more and more people will cite you, more and more people will be able to download your paper, and they'll get to know that you're a thought leader in that field. Okay, so that's why where to publish वगैरह. Okay, this was just a summary, okay, of the frameworks, but I've already shown these to you. So yeah. I'm just going to keep this slide in case anybody wants to take a screenshot. Okay. Now let's look at the limitations, merits, which is the best method, okay, organizing framework. According to me, okay, if you ask me, okay, which is the best framework, I feel it is the TCCM कि बेस्ट होता है. ऑफ कोर्स उसके भी थोड़े बहुत लिमिटेशंस है, जैसे आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो. What I feel is sometimes there are researchers who combine also ADO TCM. That is also a good combination. वो भी आप कर सकते हो. ठीक है. सिर्फ ADO या सिर्फ IW या सिर्फ IMO is input mediator outcome, independent variable mediator outcome. It will not give us a complete idea, okay, of the field. And I'm keeping this for your reference. You can take a screenshot. The references which I've already shared with you, papers के उसमें ये दिया हुआ है. Okay. So yeah, I have made these slides using these research papers. Okay. If there are any questions, please let me know.
Ma'am, can you please share your PPT in group?
Ma'am, I'll tell you what is the thing with this PPT. This PPT, okay, I have made it for the very first time, and I have made using these articles only, and there is a lot of work that I need to do on this. So अभी इस पे थोड़ा और काम करना बाकी है, तो that's why I feel it's not in a position, okay, that I can share with you. But मैंने ये जो 3 आर्टिकल्स 4 दिए हैं, आप पढ़ोगे, यही सब इसमें कवर किया हुआ है, यही सब उसमें है.
Okay.
I want to add my personal touch, okay, to this. So I'm waiting for some more days, okay, कि मुझे time मिले and मैं ये करूँ. That's the only reason. So the recording will be available YouTube पे, ये session तो हमेशा ही होगा. So if somebody has missed something, they can either take a screenshot or they can listen to it again and again. और ये PPT में फिलहाल मैंने screenshots डाले हैं, so मैंने किसी का proprietary material लिया हुआ है. तो कॉपीराइट वायलेशन के बहुत हाई स्कोप है हो चुके हैं, तो आई डोंट वांट कि इशू ज्यादा हो बाद में इसके लिए. प्लीज डोंट फील बैड अबाउट दिस. Can you please show the Google Scholar extension utilization with an example again? Yes, I can do that. Thank you so much for asking that. Let's go to Google Scholar. Okay, this is the Google Scholar. In the extension section, I have added something called as rapid journal quality check. How do you get this? You go to Google, you type rapid journal quality check download, you download it as an extension. आपको उसके Chrome extension में add करना है. The moment you add it, I will just show to you. Okay, से MOOC adoption काफी टाइम से उसके ऊपर अभी लिखा नहीं है. कुछ papers MOOC adoption. तो आई गेट टू नो, देखो बी कैटेगरी पेपर है, ये पता चला. ये सिर्फ Q1 है, ABDC नहीं है, ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है, तो मुझे ये पेपर लेना ही नहीं है. कुछ भी नहीं होने का वजह से ये भी हो सकता है कि अभी वो स्कोपस की लिस्ट से निकाली गई है और समथिंग ऑफ दैट सॉर्ट. और I found my own article over here. See, it's been cited 15 times. It's a Q3 article. Like that. Okay. That's how we use a rapid journal quality check. We get to know, okay, instantly कि कौन से articles लेने चाहिए, नहीं लेने चाहिए, कौन से ignore करने चाहिए. Now, why this is shown as NA? Mostly this journal has got delisted from Scopus, is what I feel. Although इसके 56 citation थे, maybe some journals turn predatory after some time. Okay, so that's why it may have happened. Okay. In my scope of session of today, okay, there was one topic which was not there, but I want to talk about this because I'm very passionate about this thing. Please do not publish in paid journals. Please do not publish in predatory journals, cloned journals. Publishing करनी है तो the publisher has to be either IGI Springer, Wiley, Elsevier, Sage, Taylor Francis. एक हाथ मिस हो गया होगा. Apart from that random people have now created a racket wherein they रातों रात आपको publish करा देते हैं. There are some journals which are also in ABDC Scopus. वो कराते हैं. वो अभी expose हो रहे हैं तो they are getting delisted. Why am I telling you this? Because a lot of naming shaming happens, retraction happens. You understand what's retraction? Okay, journal withdraws की नहीं, तो आपका नाम खराब होता है अगर एक रिट्रैक्शन होता है. और गूगल स्कॉलर में रिट्रैक्टेड करके आपका पेपर भी दिखेगा कि आपका वो पेपर था, अभी वो रिट्रैक्टेड है. I think that is the worst thing that can happen to any researcher. So please avoid doing that. Do less research but do very good quality research. कम करो लेकिन बहुत अच्छा करो. Okay. Shakila is asking the name of the journal to be published. These were not the name of the journal. These were the publishers. उनके अंदर हजारों journals होती है. So these publishers are Elsevier, Sage, um, Springer, Wiley, Taylor Francis, IGI के कुछ journals ठीक है. Yeah, I think pretty much यही है. Sorry?
जा रहे हो?
So yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you please once more show us how do you do the rapid journal? Can you please?
Yeah, I'll show you.
नहीं
Hello,
सर.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I go to the Google Scholar.
सफेदा लेके आऊंगी सर जी, ऐसा बोलेंगे आपको. गाना पाएंगे आप.
Unmute, Dr. Ankita, you're on unmute. I'm muting you. Okay. So now we will go to the rapid journal quality check. Okay. अगर step by step अगर हम देखें तो we have to go to Google. Okay. I have to type rapid journal quality check. टाइप किया, ये क्रोम वेब स्टोर में मुझे लेके जाएगा. आई गो देयर. मेरा तो ऑलरेडी डाउनलोडेड है, बट सपोज नहीं होता तो आई डाउनलोड एंड देन दे विल आस्क इंस्टॉल ओके इन द एक्सटेंशन. तो वो आप यस 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 करते जाइए. द मोमेंट वो सब हो जाएगा आप देखोगे. ओके फिर आपको जैसे मेरा ये एक्सटेंशन यहाँ पे आई एम क्लिकिंग इट ओवर हियर. एबीडीसी को एक्टिव करिए. आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज टर्बो, मुझे नहीं पता है, बट मेरा एक्टिव है वो. देन एबीएस FT50 SJR ये आप एक्टिव करके रखिए. ठीक है. एंड देयर आफ्टर जैसे अगर मैं आपको अगर मेरा प्रोफाइल भी बताऊं, मेरे पेपर्स भी अगर आपको दिखाऊं तो आई हैव वन A star, Q3, C category, Q2 पेपर, there's also C category and so on. तो ऐसे करके आपको दिखेगा. This was a conference paper which is getting indexed. ऐसा तो ऐसे आपको वो ऑटोमेटिकली दिख जाता है. Okay, I hope this was
Thank you so much, ma'am.
okay. Somebody in the private said that they take the publishers take money and run away. ये भी बहुत होता है. Anybody who is telling you कि एक महीने में, एक हफ्ते में, एक दिन में रिव्यू दे देंगे, boss, you are not required to submit your paper over there. It's a bad source. Okay. I think I finished my topic pretty early. Any questions, if at all, or else we can wind up. If there are any other research-based questions, I'm ready to solve or respond to them.
Yeah, the learners can ask the questions. If you have anything in your mind, please.
Yeah.
writing research papers for peer review and what madam is teaching is totally different, because as one sir mentioned here, you have to take lots of pain to read the articles and take out from them, and then you have to do something what you find as a research gap. So it's really not that easy, and the level of our understanding you can feel. Someone has given, madam, do some also charge fees? Acha, do Sage also charge fees for paper publication? They have a question.
Yeah, so I'll answer this. Sir, I have a PPT, okay, which talks about open access. So I would like to answer through that. As such, nobody should charge you money, okay? But open access fees करके होता है या आर्टिकल प्रोसेसिंग फीस करके ये होता है, ये थोड़ा है ना, ये बहुत ही शेडी और कंफ्यूजिंग डोमेन है. So let me, okay, talk about open access यहाँ पे. Although this is not the topic that I'm supposed to do it. Open access का मतलब क्या कि your publication is open for reading, downloading to everyone, and there is people don't have to pay money to read your research. Okay, I'll come and I'll talk about, okay, what sort of open access types होते हैं. एक open access में ये होता है where the author has to pay the money in the form of APC, article processing fees. Like I think ये वाली मेरी slide है. हाँ. Green open access, also called as parallel publishing, self-archiving, enables the researcher to publish the publication either the researcher's own website or नहीं, वो नहीं है ये. हाँ, I think एक तो article processing charges तभी होता है कि researcher pay करे. ओके. कुछ जर्नल्स मैंने देखा है कि वो पब्लिकेशन के टाइम पे लेते, कुछ जर्नल्स पब्लिकेशन के पहले लेते हैं. I would suggest do not go for such APC based journals. Okay, look for better other options. Coming back to open access, okay, and this is something now I'll talk about this. So green open access enables the researcher. अगर आपका जो research paper green open access है, somebody has paid money for it, okay, whether the researcher has paid we don't know, but आप वो आपका पेपर आपके वेबसाइट में researchgate में अपलोड कर सकते हो. Gold open access means that there is no subscription fee for a journal, but the author pays a fee. Author ने ढेर सारे रुपए दिए हैं so that general readers can read for it. Okay, the fee will cover the cost of the journal, which is called as article processing. The author retains the copyright, and the publication can be published with a Creative Commons license. Hybrid open access, an author who wants to publish the article in a journal, which normally requires a subscription and publishes behind a paywall, can publish the article open access for a fee. This method is very costly for the author but lucrative for the publisher, since the publisher charges both for the subscription also and authors को भी charge कर रहा है. So in Western world, okay, there is this whole movement against a lot of publishers कि वो बहुत पैसे billions of dollars कमा रहे हैं. See, when you review paper, you don't get money. Author अपना पेपर पब्लिश करा, उसके लिए वो APC चार्ज कर रहा है. रीडर जब रीड करना है वो भी पैसे दे रहा है, तो कमा कौन रहा है? Okay, so publisher. So those things are there. Of course, I digressed, okay, from the question that do Sage also charge fees? If they're charging in the form of APC, then it's fine. And only some journals might be doing. Sage is a publication house. Within it, multiple publications are there, journals are there, which may or may not do. Okay, there is one big question I see. Ma'am, by reading research paper, there may be some research ideas come in our mind. So my question is how to proceed with that. Excellent question. Jyoti, every time a new idea comes to you, आपका मोबाइल फोन में एक नोटपैड होगा. You note it there. या आप व्हाट्सएप में खुद को ही मैसेज कर सकते हो, ईमेल कर सकते हो, या लैपटॉप पे पढ़ रहे थे तो आपके पास एक वर्ड डॉक फाइल होनी चाहिए, एक्सेल फाइल होनी चाहिए, जिसका टाइटल होना चाहिए रिसर्च आइडियाज. आई ऑलवेज डू दैट. ओके, मेरी वो फाइल है, काफी सालों से चल रही है. जब भी मैं कुछ पढ़ रही हूँ, देख रही हूँ, सुन रही हूँ, मुझे मन करता है तो आई नोट इट डाउन एवरी नाउ एंड देन. इफ आई डोंट नोट डाउन, वो गायब हो जाएगा और अच्छी आइडिया गायब हो जाएगा. सो दैट इज वन वे. Like whenever I have some idea, I talk to my guide. Then he asks me what will be the DV, IDV. हाँ, अभी एक आइडिया अगर आया है, एटलीस्ट 10 पेपर तो पढ़ो. 15-20 पेपर्स आप नहीं पढ़ोगे तो आपको कैसे पता चला कि वो फील्ड क्या है? एंड देन उसके बेसिस के ऊपर से आप थोड़ा बहुत उन 15-20 पेपर्स का SLR करके आप अपने गाइड को बता सकते हो व्हाट योर गाइड इज आस्किंग, IV, DV, डेटा कलेक्शन एक्सेट्रा, सेक्टर्स। ओके, तो पढ़ना तो पड़ेगा, देन यू कैन आंसर ऑल ऑफ दिस। आई होप आई वाज एबल टू सॉल्व दैट क्वेरी ऑफ योर्स। Any other question?
Yes, any
Anyone?
other question, dear learners? Okay. For research
Okay, so
purpose, how many literature review will be required for writing any research paper or conference? Ma'am, kindly please tell me how many literature reviews will be required.
okay. If it's a conference, abhi dekho, thank you for this question. There are conferences also of various types.
Question.
In IIMs, okay, they do a conference sometimes where you have to only submit a 1500 word structured abstract. Introduction, objectives, hypothesis, model, findings, conclusions, implications. 1500 words, 2500 words का होता है. At least 50-60 papers structured abstract के लिए लगते हैं. अगर कॉन्फ्रेंस में पूरा पेपर मांगा है विच इज ऑफ 8000 वर्ड्स और 10,000 वर्ड्स, तो कम से कम 80 पेपर्स तो होगा ही होगा. Okay, you will have to use at least 80 papers in that case. Suppose it's a very local conference where the entire paper they are asking you for 1000 words, 2000 words, local conference. तो भी 30-40 papers तो देखने ही पड़ेंगे. Okay. There's a question, which statistical technique one should use for the selection of large number of variables? I don't think there is a statistical technique. All this that we were talking about, this was manually to be done. Once I select the variables manually, I make a model where I have many variables. Then I use SPSS, PLS, MOS, R, such other tools, Jamovi, okay, for my analysis. But variable जो select करना वो तो manual है. SLR can save you from statistics, but SLR will require you to do a lot of reading and Excel work and table work. वो हम नहीं escape कर सकते. अच्छा, should you, हाँ, one question मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है. अपने SLR के प्रोजेक्ट के ऊपर काम कर रहे हो, should you take it to a conference? Never. SLR should never be taken to a conference. The reason, I mean, there are people who do it. No, SLR you reserve it for publication only. आपका जो novelty और इतना मेहनत है, why you want to waste it in a conference? Okay, you keep it only for your publication purposes. You have to pitch that to a publisher. And never pitch the same article to multiple publishers at the same time. There are a lot of people who have been doing this. I'm completely against this policy. It's totally unethical activity. Don't do that. Some tips, in case if you're doing qualitative studies, you need permission from the ethics board, research ethics board, review board, which is either at the university level or at the institute level, wherein you have to show them your research objectives. आप क्या कर रहे हो, स्टडी क्यों कर रहे हो, आपके सैम्पल क्वेश्चंस क्या होंगे, उनकी अप्रूवल के बाद ही आपको वो क्वालिटेटिव स्टडी करनी है. व्हाई एम आई सेइंग? आई नो समवन वेरी क्लोजली, they did not have this ethics approval. They went all in and collected the data. They were almost on the verge of submitting their thesis. फिर एक ऑब्जेक्शन आया यूनिवर्सिटी में कि परमिशन किधर थी तुम्हारे पास ये सब करने की, और पूरा उसका काम होके नल एंड वॉइड कर दिया उन्होंने. So three years of effort gone to waste. So that is something for qualitative study. Next is, what are the difference between techniques and tool methods? Tools अगर हम बोले तो these are statistical tools. SPSS are these. This is a tool. Okay. Technique is data analysis technique like structural equation modeling है, MANOVA है, ANOVA है, parametric test है, रिग्रेशन है, फैक्टर एनालिसिस है, वो सारे टेक्निक्स होते हैं. टूल्स विल कीप ऑन चेंजिंग. Sir, I think there are no more questions. Do you want me to say anything else or should we wrap up? I'm just waiting for the organizers. Once they say okay, then we can close the session. Still, if you have any doubts, you can ask me about research. Mhm.
Yeah, so shall I propose vote of thanks, Jinal ma'am, now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I sincerely thank on behalf of Anjuman Islam's AP College and I extend my sincere gratitude for your insightful session on systematic literature review and scholarly writings. I'm very sure that they must have learned. I understand the level of the papers you're talking about and the literature reviews. Generally, when we present in local paper, we are not so serious about it. But such kind of writing to get gain a name at a national international platform, we have to give extra pain for that. So your expertise and engaging delivery really has provided invaluable guidance.
Thank you,
And I'm
sir.
very sure that all the faculties and the research scholars undoubtedly must have enriched with the understanding and they will enhance their research endeavors with this. So thank you once again for inspiring us. And
Thank you, sir.
I'm again sure and hopeful of welcoming you again in the future. Thank you very much.
Sure, sir. Sir, I hope that next time we meet, I learn something new. I come up with something else.
No,
And
you always do come. I remember, dear learners, she has given sessions on how to write, award-winning papers. So different topics she does handle, and I'm very sure come up with something new which will, benefit our learners and research scholars. It's a motivation. See, students, what you learn, okay, in a material. More than that, what you can see her and learn that at a young age, how can one get flourished and get a name by hard work? It doesn't come overnight. You need to give lots of pain in learning. Out of thousands, when you are spectacular, it means you have given something extra than others. And she does have that quality. I know her. So, Gina, thank you very much. I always look forward to your lecture. I didn't move from here today for 2.5 hours.
wow,
Yes, I also learn from you
thank,
many times, and I always feel that there's a lot to learn from you.
thank
And
you,
that
sir.
efforts,
You're
your
very
efforts,
kind.
yeah, your efforts are always observed. So thank you very much, and thanks a lot.
Thank
Someone
you.
has
Thank you,
something.
sir. So just want to tell the fellow participants that, good research takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. So do
Yes,
put in that. Don't get into the rat race. You may find that your colleagues, your friends, your known acquaintances are moving far ahead in career. आपको लगता होगा, मुझे भी बहुत बार लगता है कि यार मैं तो पीछे रह गई. तो that I take it positively कि चलो ठीक है पढ़ लेंगे. We'll study but we'll not use any unfair means to grow because
When you come up,
एक
you
बार
come
नाम
up
खराब
in
होता.
the correct way. Yeah, very rightly
Yeah.
said. Just
Yeah.
gaining name for the sake of name and just prefix of doctorate, learners should not sacrifice their born talent and they have something hidden. They have to explore it. I also strongly believe that.
Correct. My association with Sir, okay, is for so many years. My I know this is not the forum, but वो नेट सेट के लिए मुझे उनसे थोड़ा गाइडेंस चाहिए था. तो I met him couple of times and he motivated me and मेरा क्लियर भी हो गया. उसके बाद मैंने 5 times दिया. I'm not marketing myself, but what I'm telling you, for some years I took lot of sessions on how to clear net set exams. But then I was like, नहीं, अभी मुझे ये नहीं करना, अभी मुझे कुछ और करना है. So you take one thing, master it, move, फिर you then pass on the knowledge to others, then move on. ऐसा. So maybe for the next 6 months, 1 year, you may find that I might do SLR sessions here and there because ये मेरी expertise आ गई है. फिर 1-2 साल मैं खुद ठंडी बैठूंगी. And जब मैं ठंडी बैठूंगी, that time I'm learning something else. And then I'll again come after 2-3 years with something else. So if I have a 14-year career journey, 14-15-year career journey till now. तो वो आप भी अपना एक remember हम लंबी रेस के घोड़े हैं. Don't go for short term ये. I just have 6-7 publications. I'm telling only 6-7 legit publications which I call my own. And nobody can raise a finger कि ये ऐसा है या वैसा है. कम करिए, अच्छा करिए. Don't go for 40-50 publications, okay? My God. Don't do that, okay? Do less, do nice
So that's
research.
indeed your one paper equal to 100. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
Yeah,
I'm very
साल
sure
में
that
एक पेपर ही
the others
publish
must
करिए.
have gained
Keep a
lots of
target of
knowledge.
publishing only one paper, not more than that, okay? Don't overdo it. Otherwise you will feel burnt out also. सर ने मेरे सेशन का टाइटल रखा था SLR and scholarly writing. तो scholarly writing के लिए one advice that I want to give you is don't burn yourself out. Keep research papers पढ़ने भी है, और अगर लंबे तौर पे अगर you want to continue doing it, daily one paper or half a paper you read. Apart from your college responsibility, family responsibility, traffic, this, that, कितनी सारी चीजें होती है ना हमें करनी है. तो वो सब में दिन का एक पेपर पढ़ने का टाइम निकालिए. I think you will do good at the end of the year.
Very true. Understanding the insights of many people, you get your own insight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Gina, for joining. And really, I appreciate your patience and your energy. Talking continuously for so many hours without taking a break. That's
Thank you,
really
sir.
great.
Sir, but I also go through
So,
self-doubt, I also go through sometimes that what am I doing? कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, ये वो. I get impatient, but then ये जो भी सब मैंने आपको बोला, I remind myself, no, it's okay. Things take time. Good things take time, but once they are there, they are with you.
Very, very true, very true.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and shall see you again with a new program or new FTP.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So thank you very much, all dear faculty members and the learner. Bye. Because we have Rosa here now, so many have to now go for iftari. So
Correct.
thank you very much.
No problem.
Bye. Take care,
Bye-bye
all of
then.
you. Bye. Bye. Be blessed. Bye. Bye.